That's why businesses advertise with iHeartMedia, the #1 audio company in the country. Reach consumers with radio, podcasting, streaming, and more. Make your business a household name and visit iHeartAdvertising.com or call 844-BUY-RADIO. Grow your reach, grow your business. Call iHeartMedia today. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com or call 844-BUY-RADIO.
With signs and graphics, you can say anything, do anything, be anything. So make your statement with Fast Signs. There are 1,000,001 possibilities to power your business visibility. Achieve more than you ever thought possible with Fast Signs.
Hey, this is Coach Danny Wilkins, and I want to invite you to support a great FCA ministry serving local kids and coaches to our annual FCA Sporting Clays event at beautiful Biltmore Estate on Friday, September 9th, with 2 flight opportunities at either 8:30 a.m. or 1 p.m. with a fantastic barbecue, ribs, and chicken lunch. Shells are provided. The team consists of 5 players. Space is limited. To learn more, visit our website at swnCFCA.org. Again, that's swnCFCA.org.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Doug Brown. Yankees left-hander Nestor Cortez will go on the IL with a groin injury. Cortez is 9-3 this season for New York with an ERA under 3. Thunder rookie Chet Holmgren will miss the upcoming season with a right foot Lis Frank injury. The 7'1" center got hurt trying to defend LeBron James at a Pro-Am event in Seattle. ESPN's Stefania Bell.
Surgical repair is what will happen, and then it's a lengthy recovery. It can be 4 to 6 months to get all the way back from it. But the good news is once it's repaired and once you get reconditioned and readapt to the sport, you should be fine going forward.
Stefania Bell. Holmgren was the 2nd overall pick in this year's draft. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Lakers finalize a trade with the Jazz to get guard Patrick Beverley. In return, Utah gets Talen Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson. Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady expected to play Saturday in the team's preseason finale against the Colts. It'll be Brady's first game action of the preseason.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Green, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. You can hear us everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and you can also check us out on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com. Click on that live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. While you're on the YouTube channel, check out the description of this video. As you can get in on the battle for the belt, it is coming up. The deadline to get in on the contest is fast approaching.
September 9th. It is 2 weeks from tomorrow. And the belt is ordered, the belt is on its way, and the belt is sweet.
We are the Sportsocracy, back in full force. Jeremy
Feels
Green,
weird to be working. Like I haven't actually done things in 2 days.
He's been off for 4 of the last 5 days, so it feels kind of odd for him to actually have to do some heavy lifting around here.
Actual work.
But we welcome him back. We welcome you into the program as well. And we are just 1 day away. 1 day away from getting the first picks of the college football season.
Oh, and we got some bangers. Week 0 bangers. These are the best low-key bangers we've had since Creed broke up in the early 2000s.
We got the North Carolina Tar Heels going to be playing on this weekend and Saturday night against Florida A&M. And coming up is our first check-in with Jones Angell, our first Tar Heel time with Jones Angell since the basketball season at 4 o'clock. The voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels will be joining us to talk about, of course, the season preview. We'll talk about the new quarterback in town, Drake May, going to take over the spot there, obviously vacated by Sam Howell, who could be the starter in Washington here pretty soon. We'll talk to him about all things Tar Heels, plus, of course, everything in the NFL.
I have one of the greatest weird stories in the history, or outside stories, excuse me, in the history of this show.
Yes.
There is a school that I greatly enjoy, we'll say, poking a little fun at, that has given me a whole new reason to do so. And I'm going to have to tell this story very, very delicately.
We'll get into all of it outside. Weird news. Of course, the most important message of the day, don't do crimes. We'll talk NFL trade possibilities here before the season starts. What we've learned in both the NFC and the AFC throughout the preseason. We'll have a daily draft at the top of the 5 o'clock hour.
I'm not actually sure that the most important message today is don't do crimes.
Oh.
Because there may be a more important message.
Okay.
Bet the under on Dallas Cowboy wins. I don't care what you get it at. There are still places that it's 10.5.
Under.
Let me put this as clearly as I can. With the way things sit in Jarrell world right now, the only way they're winning 10.5 games is if they play 27 of them. And last time I looked, that's not going to happen.
But yeah, bad news for the Dallas Cowboys as Tyron Smith is going to have surgery.
He's out until at least December.
He might be back in December, but even that seems to be a pie in the sky kind of thing right now.
I didn't know that it was possible to hate this team in 2022 more than I do. Found a way.
You take away the multiple Pro Bowl left tackle, and the backup plan is
Josh Ball.
We're fine.
Matt Waletzko.
Yeah.
Avante Collins, who hasn't played a game since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is a microcosm of why I have been so far out on the Dallas Cowboys. How many games has Tyron Smith missed in the last 2 years? There's only been 33.
Yeah, it's been a bunch.
It's 20.
20.
And your backup plan was Josh Ball. Okay, then. The Dallas Cowboys are the greatest cyclical entity in all of sports.
Okay.
I could argue the LA Lakers are close. But this is the same pendulum that swings about every 10 years. And we're officially to my personal favorite time, which is Jerry Jones goes full lunatic and is now micromanaging everything in this building. And it doesn't make even the vaguest lick of sense.
Tyron Smith tears his left hamstring, and the reports are it came off the bone. So they are having to reattach it completely. And now Dallas has a major problem on their offensive line. They were already, they already had question marks.
You were bad on the offensive line as it sat.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to take your fun first-round draft pick, Tyler Smith. He can play on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure he could. It's just not going to go well. What happens to the Dallas Cowboys with no Tyron Smith on the field? Glad you asked. Their yards per rush goes down 0.7 of a yard. And this is not some just small sample size. This has happened a lot in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I already had huge questions about your ability to run, about your ability to put up points the way you're going to have to, and about your defense. What is there to like? That's what I cannot wrap my head around. I've gotten more flack about things I've said about the Dallas Cowboys than almost any team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that I'm supposed to feel good about? Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
Who's at best, the 12th best quarterback in this league. And I think I'm being generous.
Still.
Because that puts him ahead of Kirk Cousins, and I'm not sure he should be.
Mm-hmm. Still, I mean, he is one of the top quarterbacks in the league.
Top half.
You got one of the best running back tandems in the league.
I don't know that you do.
Oh, come on. Between Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, they're on that short list of running
Ezekiel
back
Elliott's
tandems.
been horrid. Horrid. And do you not find it weird that the 2 years where we went, how in the world did you pay this guy? Were the 2 years that Tyron Smith weren't on the field?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's not going to be this year either. So what am I supposed to feel warm and fuzzy about? Tony Pollard, who's never had more than 130 carries in a season?
Michael Gallup's not going to be on the PUP list.
Ooh.
He could be back within the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yes. Great. I don't care. There's nothing to feel good about here. And I'm going to double down on something I've said more than once this season. Philadelphia Eagles are going to walk this division. That part's not even debatable at this point to me. There are two sides to every argument, the right side and the wrong side. You want to hang on to that Dallas Cowboy delusion? More power to you, but it's the wrong side. Now the question is, how bad is this actually going to get? And I fully believe it's worse than you think.
Worse than you think. So if you were putting a new number on it, if you're putting a new number on Dallas Cowboys, 7.5.
And I'd take the under.
Really?
I could see Mike McCarthy not making it to Halloween. What's the worst possible way you could start the season? If you're the Dallas Cowboys, who are the last two teams you could possibly want to see coming in here?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
There's one.
And the Cincinnati Bengals.
And there's two.
Yeah.
I could see them losing by 4 touchdowns 2 times in a row at home.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to the Giants. I'm not saying you're going to lose to the Giants. It'll be closer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Catch Washington. Okay, maybe you win that. You're 2-2. Everything's feeling hunky-dunky.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go on the road to the L.A. Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. You're not even in the ballpark of them. You're closer to the Jets than you are to 4 of the 6 teams I just said.
Right. And then you bounce back to 500 with Detroit and Chicago.
And then
you go Green Bay and Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So you're back to 2 under 500. And then you get New York.
You'll lose one of those 2 games to the Giants.
Maybe.
Mark my words. They will lose one of those 2 games to the Giants.
And then they got Indianapolis.
Loss. Not close.
And then you go Houston at Jacksonville. So that could be 2 wins.
I don't think it will be. I'm
Really?
not sure it's a win.
Really?
I'm not sure it's a win.
Just banking on attrition of this team over the season.
But you're missing a
Somebody's gonna
point.
get hurt.
You're missing a point.
Okay.
Mindset. This team has been, I'm not going to say propped up, but there's been this myth that they're the best team in the NFC East and everything's. What do you think's going to happen when you're 0-2, 2 weeks in a row at home? Jerry Jones does a radio hit every single week. What dumb thing do you think is going to come out of his mouth in very short order? Mike McCarthy will be the least secure person in the Western Hemisphere 2 weeks into the season.
Sure.
And then it all comes tumbling after. Because then you got Dan Quinn, who's basically already been anointed as, well, that's our guy. We couldn't lose Dan Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the Sean Payton thing out there. The offense is going to be a disaster, putting the defense in a bad situation. I could easily see this being one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL.
Wow.
I could easily see this being one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL. Because you know what the difference is between, I'll use the team you just said, the Houston Texans and Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations. There are 0 in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going to get loud. There's not going to be a beat writer talking about Lovie Smith's job or Davis Mills. Is he worth the money? Or why are we paying Damian Pierce? None of those things happen. All of those things happen in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
It could get loud. It could get ugly. And probably the worst person to be facilitating all these things is old Jerry himself.
And if that does happen, if the Dallas Cowboys are one of the worst teams in the NFL, yeah, you won't see Mike McCarthy anymore. You will have a head coaching change midseason before Tyron Smith can ever come back. He probably won't even come back.
Well, I mean, why would he?
Right, exactly.
You're going to be 4 games below 500 by the time he could come back.
Right. If you're at that point in December, why even bother? You're going to need a lot of unknowns to step up and play big.
You're going to need a lot of people to be better than they are, and it's not going to happen.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Big trouble in Big D.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Roots and wings, the two greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
It's back. Countdown with Keith Olbermann, the podcast. Starting Monday, August 1st, a new episode every weekday morning. Political commentary beholden to only one special interest group, facts, plus sports. Did you know I used to do sports? And the worst persons in the world. New episodes every weekday morning. Listen to Countdown with Keith Olbermann on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey folks, DG here asking you to give yourself the gift of Asheville smiles here in 2022. Studies have linked untreated gum disease to heart disease, erectile dysfunction, systemic diseases, premature birth, joint issues, and much more. Everything is connected, and seeing a dentist every 6 months is important for your overall health. For top-notch dental care from Dr. Rebecca Merrill here in Asheville, call 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
You ever feel like when you're at work, everything you say sounds like this because you're completely unstimulated and you don't care?
But then, when you're talking to your friends about things you're truly interested in and passionate about, you sound like you're alive and loving every moment of it.
Then maybe you should try podcasting with Spreaker from iHeart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. Just head over to Spreaker.com, Spreaker, and start your voyage from ugh
to woo!
Get Labor Day savings at Lowe's. Buy one, get one 50% off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Paint and Cabot Exterior Stains via rebate. And save on Lowe's exclusive Stainmaster laminate flooring starting at $269 per square foot. It's 3 times wear resistant and backed by a lifetime limited warranty. Shop Labor Day savings now at Lowe's. Stainmaster claims compared to standard residential grade laminate. See warranty at Lowe's.com/Stainmaster. Conditions and exclusions apply. See store Lowe's.com for paint details and restrictions. While supplies last. Offer valid through 9/7.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys. The hits just keep on a-coming. You were already starting out with question marks on your offensive line. And now Tyron Smith has gone down and is going to miss 11, 12 games.
At least
this season. He has not played a full season since 2015. And so, I mean, is this the Dallas Cowboys or just are they one of the worst franchises in the league because they didn't have more depth on the offensive line?
I can't figure out how you went into a season planning on this. First of all, if Tyler Smith is if that's your backup plan, he holds so often that 4-year-olds with their blankies are jealous of him. So if that's your plan, you will be the most penalized team in the NFL. I promise you. If you remember what I say about Tyler Smith when he got drafted, he's a guard, he's a guard, he's a guard.
Right.
Unless he goes to New Orleans where they find a way to turn guards into tackles. This is not New Orleans.
No. And from what we're hearing, the plan is to keep Tyler Smith at guard.
And play Josh Ball or Matt Waletzko, who, oh, by the way, has missed the entire camp. Get out of North Dakota. Yeah, I liked.
He's got a shoulder injury or something.
And I believe he's either just come back or is in the process of working back. Let me ask you this. What unit on this team do you actually feel good about? Because to me, there's one.
I'd say the linebackers.
That's the only one. Anthony Barr, Micah Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch. Defensive line. That making you feel warm and fuzzy after losing Randy Gregory?
Not really.
Dante Fowler is going to be counted on to be your situational pass rusher, of which he would be the best pass rusher in the history of the USFL.
It's definitely not the secondary. We know the trouble's there, despite the fact that they had so many turnovers last year. They also got lit up by every opposing passing game.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things nobody wants to talk about with Trayvon Diggs. Do you know what you have to be to have that many interceptions? Picked on. Quarterbacks have to be willing to throw at you. So it's not this lockdown part of this defense that everybody seems to think it is. And so I am a big proponent of tell me how that's going to happen. All right, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say this team lives up to that 10-win expectation. Tell me how that's going to happen.
I can't.
And that's the problem.
I can't. I mean,
because you would have to actually somehow believe they're going to beat Tampa Bay in week 1 with Tom Brady, who has heard all of the things that we've all said about something's up.
Yep.
So what is he going to do? We've seen Tom do this plenty of times. At least week 1, he will be on a mission to shut people up.
Absolutely.
Then you catch the defending AFC champions that you're going to have to shoot out with. Good luck with that. Philadelphia Eagles twice, Green Bay at Minnesota, at Jacksonville, at Tennessee. You have to win 2 of those. Not 1, not get lucky and something weird happened. You have to win 2 of those. And win every game that you're supposed to against teams that are as good as you or worse. It's not going to happen. This is a historic letdown franchise. They're never as good as they're billed to be. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
And now I don't actually think you're that good.
Not since 93, anyway.
Now I don't even think you're that good. And I will argue I think the Washington football team is better than they are. Or the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
What position does Dallas scare you more than Washington? Quarterback, where he's going to be running for his absolute life. By the way, check Dak Prescott's quarterback rating without Tyron Smith. Because it goes down about 35 points. He becomes very middle of the packy without Tyron Smith. Now he has no Amari Cooper, no weapons. I could argue the weapons are bottom 5 of the NFL. This is Houston Texan level bad to me. Their 2 is Jalen Tolbert. I don't care about Dalton Schultz. I've heard that name about 1,000 times. I want you to think about every good tight end in the NFL. Do you know what they all have in common?
What's that?
Guys on the outside. You ever notice San Francisco has a ton of guys that can get open on the outside? It's because you need that. Because if I can just absolutely pack it in, your tight end becomes irrelevant. Dalton Schultz is not outrunning anybody. He's a 4.7 tight end. Where does he benefit? Having Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb on the outside that can take the top off the defense. You have no one that can do that. Well, but Jalen Tolbert, who played at South Alabama last year. Yeah, he's fast. If you breathe on him, he will fall down. And I like the kid. I'm not trying to throw shade on him. You have stepped every person on this roster up 1 step above where they should be. And you mix that with the expectations and it being Dallas, and this has train wreck written all over it.
It does indeed. You may think, you may look at today's news and go, oh, it's fine. We played without Tyron Smith before. Yeah, you have. What did you say? 20 games in the last 33 have been played without Tyron Smith. Do you really want to do that again? Do you want to be that team again? Do you want to go back to just being okay? Because that's what they were.
There's a nice back and forth going on in the YouTube comments about the Giants. The difference between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants right now is fractional at best. Fractional at best. Who has better weapons right now? It's not debatable. It's the Giants. It's not even close. Colin Johnson, who was going to be their 5, would have been the 2 in Dallas. And you wouldn't have even thought about it. Offensive line, who's better? New York Giants, not close.
Yep.
Defensive line, who's better? New York Giants, not close. Secondary, who's better? New York Giants, closer. No doubter. But that's just what's funny to me. I know the Giants have been an also-ran forever. I now believe in your coach, and I believe in your talent more than I do this team.
But I still feel like you have as many questions with the Giants as you do with the Cowboys.
Oh, I'm not saying you don't. That's why I said the difference is fractional.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I want to say Dallas finishes dead last in this division by 2 solid games. That's what I want to say. I'm not going to do that.
Good for you.
Because that's, okay, let's go a little tinfoil on your head.
Yeah.
Little kooky. But it's not that out of the realm of possibility.
No, it's not. It's not out of the realm of possibility. You know, I feel like you probably shouldn't be putting any wagers on them to be the worst team in the NFL. Much like, did you see this story? There have been 2 wagers placed at sports books for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be the worst team in the NFL.
Those people are stupid.
Somebody put down like $300 at one casino, and somebody else put down like $400 at another casino.
It's just chasing a big number.
Yeah, they're chasing a huge number. Obviously, because the payouts would be like $100,000 or something.
I'll be honest, as soon as I saw the Tyron Smith news today, I already had under 10.5. First thing I did.
Double down.
What is it right now? It's 9.5. The active line today was under 9.5, and I took it as aggressively as they would allow me to. And Philadelphia to win the NFC East. Because to me, neither of those things are even debatable.
Right.
Short of an alien abduction or I don't even know what else could happen. The Philadelphia Eagles disappear into the Bermuda Triangle. That's what it would take for anybody else to win this division. I don't care how good Jalen Hurts is. He doesn't have to be great. The defense is terrifying. That's the only unit in this entire division that I know almost exactly what I'm getting. And I'm going to sit back and laugh and laugh and laugh. I feel bad for Tyron Smith. I really do. I have zero sympathy for the Dallas Cowboys. This is like having a really shoddy car. You have a car that is just completely non-dependable. It breaks down all the time, and that's your only means of transportation. And you make absolutely no concessions. You don't even know what the bus schedule looks like because all my eggs are in this basket. Well, when it explodes, I have zero sympathy for you.
Well, the way the Dallas Cowboys have run their organization over the last few years, giving out major contracts to their star players, it hampers you from building any kind of depth.
And if you remember, I mean, they've got $20 million in cap space, so they could go chase Eric Fisher. Here's what I'll tell you. Multiple teams have investigated it. Nobody got to even step 2. That should tell you a lot.
Right.
But this is what I said when you gave Dak Prescott the money. You want to pay a top 15 quarterback as a top 5 guy, you get what you get. Hashtag Cowboys aren't real.
It's going to be huge problems for the Dallas Cowboys. Coming up next, we'll get just a bit outside, and we'll talk about some possible trade scenarios for the NFL as we head into this season.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the bigger rains off to our southeast and just isolated thunderstorms here in the mountains early tonight, drifting southeast. Low tonight 62 degrees and hit and miss storms for Friday through this last weekend of August. Temperatures in the low 80s. Looks like we do see some cooler weather finally showing up early September here with some 70s for high temps into late next week. So stay tuned. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse of Asheville.
At Mattress Warehouse, free is their favorite four-letter word. Because now when you buy one mattress, you get the second one free. Plus 0% interest financing and free next-day delivery. Hurry, sale ends Thursday, only at Mattress Warehouse.
Count on Western Carolina orthopedic specialists to keep your life in motion. Injuries and joint pain can rob you of the activities you enjoy most. From sports medicine, sprains and strains, to joint repair and replacement, we're here, close to home, to get you moving again. Western Carolina orthopedic specialists. From the routine to the unforeseen, take our free joint pain assessment at westerncarolinaortho.com. That's westerncarolinaortho.com.
With our newest unlimited plan, everyone's welcome. Introducing Welcome Unlimited from Verizon for just $30 a line per month for 4 lines with autopay plus taxes and fees. Our best priced unlimited plan ever.
Did he say $30?
Yep, $30 a line for the whole family. The network you want, the price you love. Switch to Verizon today. Paper-free billing required. Unlimited 5G nationwide 4G LTE. In times of congestion, your data may be temporarily slower than other traffic. All smartphone lines on the account must be on Welcome Unlimited and are eligible only for select promotions. Includes domestic talk, text, and data usage only. Data roaming at 2G speeds.
To some, a baby's babbling doesn't mean much, but it does. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio. We're always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings, and we've got controversy coming up in college football. Week 0. I know you're going to be really intent on the Jacksonville State Steve F. Austin. That's hard for me to say.
Stephen F. Austin.
Stephen F. Austin matchup in Week 0. Somebody who is already
might have a wager for that tomorrow.
Making excuses. Maybe this is making excuses. Maybe he's really, really upset about it. But you remember the name Rich Rodriguez?
Oh, I know it well.
Oh, Jeremy loved it when he was the head coach of his West Virginia Mountaineers.
Well, those were good times.
They were good
times.
times.
Now, it aged like cheese, but it was good times. It was good for a minute.
Well, Rich Rod is now the head coach of the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. And he is not very happy because he told reporters this week that Jacksonville State became aware that Stevie Awesome had sent in some spies. Apparently, they sent some representatives, or at least one representative, to their spring game, and they've caught somebody with a camera at one of their practices not too long ago. They didn't say when it was, like if it was this past week or if it was 2 weeks ago or whatever, But he told the story that this guy had been spotted by Rich Rod's daughter, and she said she alerted everybody on the sidelines. There's a guy with a camera out there, all of that. So he sent out the strength and conditioning coach,
of which that's who you send,
who is 6'7", 350 pounds, and bench presses 1,000.
Yeah, he's and probably a little unhinged if I had a wager.
Oh, yeah. He said, I sent the biggest guy in our program. One of our assistants, the strength coaches, sent him up to the bleachers to run this guy off, and he disappeared pretty quickly. Now, obviously, he says stuff like this happens. He's heard about it happening from time to time. We've heard about it in the NFL, the Spygate scenario with the New England Patriots and all of that. If you were a head coach, are you terribly upset that someone's filming your practices?
I could care less.
Really?
But I will say there is no job that I think I want more than to be the strength and conditioning coach that they send when something like this happens.
Right.
Like, I'd run. You should run away right now.
Go take care of this immediately.
Mongo! Smash!
So if it ends up that the Lumberjacks get the better of the Gamecocks this week, Rich Rod's got a fallback of, they cheated.
So your story was about the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State.
Yeah.
Mine is about the Gamecocks of South Carolina.
Okay.
I was today years old when I found out they had a live mascot.
They do?
Did you know they had a rooster?
I did not.
I did not know that. I am going to have to tell this story so delicately that it is. Just bear with me, okay? The live rooster's name is Sir Big Spur.
Mm-hmm.
Really make sure you enunciate during the story. Well, apparently some boosters actually own this rooster.
Okay.
And it was the Albertellis. Well, they just sold the rooster to Beth and Van Clark. But there were some stipulations on the sale of the rooster.
Okay.
One of those was that they could use the name Big Sir Spur.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to re-up it every year. Well, apparently, the Albertellis are a little perturbed that the Clarks are not trimming the thing around the rooster's head. I don't know what it's called.
They're not giving him a haircut?
That's what they called it in the story. And apparently you do that to make the rooster look like a fighting rooster.
Yes.
So now the former owners have said, you can continue to use the rooster, but you cannot call him Big Sir Spur.
Because you won't give him a haircut.
So with 9 days before the season, South Carolina has put out a poll to its fan base to rename this chicken.
Mm-hmm.
This is the spot where I have to be very careful what I say. Here are some of the options. Marco Pollo.
Not bad.
Captain Cluck.
Yeah, that's awful.
Cockadoodle Dude.
Stop.
Brewster.
Brewster?
One of my personal favorites, Cluck Norris. I like that one a lot.
All right, yeah.
But there is currently a potential name that is very easily winning the competition, and I can't really say it on this show.
Oh, sure you can.
It is the Gamecock Commander minus the game. I have never wanted something to happen in college football so bad in my life. Can you imagine week
every
one?
time he gets referred to during the game, you have to bleep it out.
Yeah. Can you imagine they named this rooster this, and now every analyst that covers the South Carolina game has to come up with, I don't know how to say that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know how to call him that. Can we just go with Cluck Norris?
Right.
That is the most South Carolina thing I've ever heard in my life.
100%.
By the way, it has over 60% of the vote as of last check right before the show started.
Of course it does. These are SEC fans. Of course
I might have voted for it no less than the number of Google accounts that I have, which is more than one and less than 100.
You just wanted to make sure that this
I
happens.
want this to happen so bad.
I didn't even know this creature existed.
I didn't either. I had no idea. There's a picture of Shane Beamer after the Duke's Mayo Bowl, and he's holding it up. And the picture, you remember the episode of Seinfeld with Little Jerry?
Mm-mm.
It was the fighting rooster.
Yeah. You know me. And
Seinfeld. Kramer holds it up, and it starts flapping. That's exactly what Shane Beamer looks like in this picture. I had no clue. And now I only will refer to him by one name. And I don't care what wins. That will be his name forever.
Forever. Okay. Good night. Some of the other names that were thrown out there to rename this chicken. Mr. Chicken Scratch.
Awful. I culled all the bad ones.
Big Daddy Can't Be Fried?
Okay. All right, I take it back. Now I kind of want that one.
You like that
was
one?
not in the final poll.
Kapow, the foul. See, you spell it differently.
Awful. Horrid.
Old Razor Feet.
That's bad, too.
Although it would get Rex Ryan excited.
The only winners here are the first one you said, Cluck Norris, and the one that I'm not allowed to say.
Demon Cockadoodle.
This is too good. I like this. Why did no one ask?
Shane Beaker, the Tiger Clucker.
Yeah, there has never been a time where we have had to be more careful.
And then this one I think might be my favorite, the Dirt Pecker Decker. So go and vote right now. Where can you vote? Where is it on the Gamecocks?
I'll share it. Okay. I have no fear. I'll share it.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I mean, Big Sir, what was it? Big Sir
Big
Spur?
Sir Spur.
Yeah.
First of all, that name is not good. If you're going to use one that you can at least use, it's Cluck Norris, and it's not even close.
I would tend to agree. Coming up before the NFL season starts, we got roster cuts that are going to happen.
And they're going to be good players that don't make rosters.
Mm-hmm. T's and P's. We got to say our prayers for Jeremy Green because Auden Tate got cut loose by the Atlanta Falcons.
It's okay. A smart team will pick him up and turn him into the perennial Pro Bowler that we all know he will be.
Come on, Chicago Bears.
100%.
I am rooting for the Chicago Bears.
He's the 2 in Chicago immediately.
Yeah, I think he'd be the 1.
I'm not sure that you're not right.
So as the final roster cuts are being made, who's going to make a trade? Who could be on the trade block?
There is a name that has been said a lot of times, and this is why I wanted to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge proponent of where there is smoke, there is at least a little bit of fire. And there is a player that I have told you, and I have told sports freak Brian Hall, who is a huge Miami Dolphins fan, I don't know how this guy fits in your system. And it seems like this has gotten louder and louder and louder and louder, and now it's to the point that Mike McDaniel had to address it. It's Mike Gesicki.
Really?
He doesn't fit in this scheme. He doesn't. Mm-hmm. If you've watched the New York Jets, the San Francisco 49ers, any team that runs a variation of this Shanahan offense, there is one thing that is very important with your tight end.
Blocking.
They have to be able to run a wham block because they do it repeatedly. It's what made George Kittle in the beginning before we figured out, he's good with the football in his hand. Mike Gesicki can't do that. And the more time's going on, I can't tell you that anything's actually going to happen. This has gotten so loud that I feel like it's at least been discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one place that makes just all the sense in the world, and it would not involve him moving all that far.
Am I going to like how this goes?
It's your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the only – I've gone through the entire league.
Please.
Who is going to pay $10 million to a tight end?
Mm-hmm.
Your team's the one that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Your team is the one that makes sense. Tom has always been beholden to tight ends. You currently do not really have one.
Mm-mm.
And I would get it. I would get it.
We got Kyle Rudolph and Cameron Brate and Cade Otton. You throw Mike Gesicki on there, then it makes me feel a little bit better about the losses that we've had in the receiver room.
And when a coach has to come out and actually acknowledge something like this, that means it's gotten very loud. So I can't tell you that something's going to happen there, but that was the first name that came to my mind.
Okay.
Other than the obvious of Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm tired. I'm tired of Jimmy. We can talk about Jimmy when Jimmy actually goes somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a slew of others, guys that a running back in Cleveland is not making that roster. I feel very sure of that. Whether it's Dearness Johnson or Kareem Hunt, one of those two is not making that roster.
They'll outright cut one of them.
It's not a cut. It's one of them will get dealt.
Oh, okay.
They're too good.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dearness Johnson came in and rushed for, I think it was over 500 yards last year in relief duty for Cleveland.
And
Nick
one of
Chubb
the ways I cut through these things, I go back to the draft. The draft is one of the things that's always entertained me about the draft is that you can watch what teams do, and it doesn't make even a small bit of sense until it does.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you remember, Cleveland did not have a ton of draft capital. Well, who'd they draft? Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
And at the time, I went, why would you waste a pick on a running? Oh.
Well, see, when they did that, I thought, well, obviously, because Kareem Hunt's not coming back after this year.
I'm not sure it's not Dearness Johnson.
Really?
I'm not sure he's not worth more at this point. I know that sounds insane. Money on running
He's
backs.
on a cheaper deal, yeah.
Money with running backs is a lot like years with dogs. It accelerates really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you're paying Dearness Johnson nothing, and you're paying Kareem Hunt really even anything at 27 years old, there's a discrepancy there.
Yeah. About $6.5 million is what Kareem's making this year.
Vaguely.
So, I mean, I think the official number was like 6.4. But
I can't remember what the actual cash value is.
Mm-hmm.
I know what the cap number is, but you can't trust that anymore. The salary cap doesn't matter. We just rearrange things to make it work.
It wouldn't, to me, it wouldn't make any sense for it to be Kareem. Kareem's already asked for the trade, and Cleveland's already publicly come out and said, we're not trading you.
And Jerome Ford does not do what Kareem Hunt does. He does what Dearness Johnson does.
No, but Demetric Felton does.
Not really, because he's still a receiver at the end of the day. I mean, I know he played some running back at UCLA, but it's very obvious when he's been out there. If you're going to use him as, and you know what I'm about to say, because this Kareem Hunt's the great pass catcher,
right?
That narrative drives me insane. But he's at least a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Jerome Ford is no threat. Dearness Johnson is not really any of a threat. Nick Chubb is not much of a threat.
No.
So the one that makes some sense is Dearness Johnson. And you look around the league and go, I can find a place for him.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will give you something for him. And then there's a slew of wide receivers. If you need a receiver, and there's a bunch of teams that do, there are several guys that I can't tell you they're going to be cut out right, but I could see a path that they're on a different roster before the season starts.
If you need to trim down, you need to change your lifestyle, get with myPhDweightLoss.com. PhD Weight Loss has helped me lose 90 pounds since Thanksgiving, and this is the best I have ever felt in my adult life. I am now staring 200 pounds in the face and going, I cannot remember a time when I was 200 pounds.
The last couple days have been proof positive of what PhD has done for me. I played in the Chamber Golf Tournament on Tuesday, had business meetings all day yesterday. Before PhD, that would have been a real chore because the actual physical exertion would have taken it out of me. I wouldn't have had the energy that I did have yesterday, and it's all thanks to the plan and program of PhD Weight Loss.
PhD Weight Loss has the plan for you to get rid of your weight problem for good. Go to myPhDweightLoss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Keep listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival, September 23rd and 24th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Tickets are on sale right now. AXS.com.
Stream it free on the CW app and CWTV.com.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival is connecting all of us.
Brought to you by the CW's new hit series, All American Homecoming. Stream every episode now for free, only on the CW app.
The Sportsocracy.
We're just dumber than a bag of hammers.
As the NFL teams have to make roster cuts, cutting down those rosters before the start of the season, some trades could be made. And Jeremy, you feel like there are a lot of wide receivers that could be on the market?
This is a good time to need a wide receiver because there's several teams that have, I'm not going to say good rooms, but they're very full now.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the New England Patriots, which I cannot help but think that puts Nelson Aguilar out. I can't imagine they're going to move Kendrick Bourne. Mac Jones loves him.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that makes any sense is Nelson Aguilar.
I would agree. But I don't know that he's a guy that you get anything for.
Oh, I mean, none of these are going to be great value deals.
No.
But you can take a flyer on a guy. Laviska Shenault. I swear to you, if I hadn't physically seen him on a sideline, I would put out a missing person for him.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently Doug Peterson looks at him and just goes, nope. You are going to have to do something about your face because it is irritating me.
Which is odd. This is now the second year in a row that has been apparently Seacrest out on one of the most dynamic players that college football had, 3 years ago?
And that's the thing. He doesn't really have a position. That's the problem with Laviska. I said that when he came out, of he's going to have to learn to do something. Because currently he's very good with the ball in his hand, but he doesn't really do anything else. I do think he will end up getting moved. I don't think they will outright cut him, but I could see somebody ponying up a conditional 5 for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just too talented to be this irrelevant. And I'll say the same thing about a guy that plays with the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
When he's been healthy and on the field, he's been okay. He's had moments.
Yeah.
I would say he's a much cheaper version of Nelson Aguilar.
But for somebody who was a top 25 pick in the NFL draft.
One spot ahead of Justin Jefferson.
Right, you got to have more than that. You've got to have more than just every now and then he can stretch the field. Or every now and then he can catch a pass. You better just tap out.
And then the one that if I was a GM, I would have already made the call.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Slayton. If I was the Chicago Bears, what do you want? He's going to be your 5. I don't even care that Colin Johnson just got hurt.
Right.
You still have no plan for him whatsoever.
He's already been passed on the depth chart by Wan'Dale Robinson.
Oh, yeah, when they came out in 3 wide receiver sets, it was Galladay, Wan'Dale Robinson, Kadarius Toney.
Mm-hmm.
You still had Colin Johnson, and you still have Sterling Shepard. You have no plan for Darius Slayton. Let's talk.
Dallas Cowboys.
Well, you're not trading him in the division.
I'm not saying for him, but make a move for one of these wide receivers.
I feel like Dallas has to do something. They're one of the Atlanta Falcons. I feel like you have to do something.
Do you, though?
Oh, 100%.
You're going to be bad.
Well, if you're going to take a flyer on one
bad.
of these, if I'm Atlanta, I'm calling on Laviska Shenault, and you're going to have to tell me no.
Mm-hmm.
That's a young player that I can get for virtually nothing. Because there's a roster crunch in Jacksonville. You can't carry this guy.
Mm-hmm.
If I give you anything, I give you a pump to inflate your footballs with. It's better than what you're actually using him for. And those are things that I look at. Then there's the 2. And I could argue there's a 3rd. Defensive players that does anything happen with them, yes or no?
Roquan.
I'm going to rate them in the order of likelihood that they actually get moved. So I will say Roquan 1,
mm-hmm.
Chuck Clark 2, Jesse Bates 3.
Okay.
One of the things that's blown my mind the most over the course of this entire offseason is how little people seem to think of the 3 guys I just said. The Chicago Bears cannot actively get a 2 for Roquan Smith.
That's insane.
Nobody cares. They're just, because Chicago has entertained the idea of moving.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is receptive to the price.
Well, because you're going to have to pay him.
The paying him is a big deal, and he plays just a really non-valuable position.
Mm-hmm.
Off-ball linebacker and running back are not valuable positions in this league anymore.
Mm-hmm. And is he a guy that you want to pay $17 million to?
Well, the fear that a lot of teams come up with is our 3rd highest paid player really going to be an off-ball linebacker? And there are teams that they put no credence to that whatsoever.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but the Jesse Bates thing has blown my mind too.
So Roquan Smith is the most likely.
I would say he is the most likely to be moved. Baltimore does not give guys away for less than market price, and they are not going to get market price on Chuck Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have Kyle Hamilton and you have Marcus Williams. They know you're going to have to do something eventually. So you may not get what you want. It's just a question of when are you going to get rid of the problem. Because it's going to be really hard to play all 3 of them. And to me, Jesse Bates is the most movable of the 3. But every team that I have heard anything about is totally out on the price.
Really?
Cincinnati apparently has no aversion to moving him. They think Daxton Hill can come in and take his spot immediately, and they would not miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what I saw, I don't necessarily know that I disagree with you.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We got our first Tar Heel time of the football season coming up after the SportsCenter update. The voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels, Jones Angell, will join us to set the stage for this upcoming football season as they get ready to take on Florida A&M. Stick with us.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the bigger rains off to our southeast and just isolated thunderstorms here in the mountains early tonight, drifting southeast. Low tonight 62 degrees and hit and miss storms for Friday through this last weekend of August. Temperatures in the low 80s. Looks like we do see some cooler weather finally showing up early September here with some 70s for high temps into late next week. So stay tuned. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has everything you need for school at prices that won't hold you back. Right now, 1-inch binders are only $1.99 each. Plus, select backpacks are 50% off, in-store only. Offer ends 8/27. Limit 30 on binders. Don't send your kids back to school. Send them forward at Staples.
It's week 2 of the Buncombe County Game of the Week, and we get to see the Pisgah Bears make the trip over to Inca to take on the Jets. This will be the season opener for Mike Sexton's ball club, who look to carry over the momentum from a playoff run a year ago. Sports Tank Friday gets us started at 6:30. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 7. On AM 1400 and TuscolaRadio.com, it's East Rutherford at Tuscola. Cowboy John and the gang will get things going at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Samsung's new Galaxy Z Flip 4 and Z Fold 4 are foldable self-standing phones that let you capture hands-free selfies. Pre-order the Galaxy Z Flip 4, Z Fold 4 at Samsung.com now to get a free storage upgrade in case. Valid through 8/25/2022. See terms and conditions that apply.
iHeartRadio and KISS want you to join the band on KISS Cruise 11.
Hey kids, it's Gene Simmons.
You and a guest will board the KISS Cruise Week 1, sailing October 24th through the 29th. Plus a $2,000 Visa gift card to cover the cost of travel to LA. We'll put you up on a balcony stateroom for 2, and you'll be a part of KISStory as KISS performs with many other bands. For your chance to win, just open the free iHeartRadio app and listen to KISS Radio. Book your cruise now at thekisscruise.com.
We hope to see you on KISS Cruise with iHeartRadio.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Doug Brown. After making his first All-Star game this season, Yankees lefty Nestor Cortez now goes on the IL with a groin injury. Thunder rookie center Chet Holmgren will miss the upcoming season with a right foot injury. He got hurt during a Pro-Am game in Seattle. Cowboys offensive lineman Tyron Smith could be out until December with a torn left hamstring. ESPN's Jeff Saturday.
Dak is a fantastic quarterback. I think he's still on the rise. I think they have planned for this, understanding how Tyron had been battling injuries, so this is not a surprise.
Jeff Saturday on KJ and Max. Former Browns center J.C. Tretter is retiring from the NFL after 8 years, but he'll stay on as president of the NFL Players Association. Cleveland cut Tretter back in March. Illinois names Tommy DeVito its starting quarterback for the opener this week against Wyoming. NASCAR driver Kurt Busch will not be available for the playoffs. He's been out more than a month with concussion symptoms. That means the last 2 playoff spots will be open Saturday night.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Green, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Coming to you live from the Ingles Studio. As always, Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings, and it is time for the Tar Heels. Tar Heel time with Jones Angell, the voice of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Back with us once again. Jones, the last time we were talking to you, we were all getting ramped up for the Final Four, and it was just, hog heaven basically for the Tar Heels. Now we got football season right around the corner. This Saturday night we'll have the Tar Heels against Florida A&M, and you will hear it right here on ESPN Asheville. Jones, what are we looking like for the season this year?
Yeah, Tank, great to be with you again. And, boy, hard to believe that it's already time to do it, right? This is the second earliest start for Carolina in its history as far as the actual date of the game. And, yeah, this Week 0 matchup with Florida A&M, I think a smart move by Carolina. This game had already been scheduled, but not necessarily as the first game, and there was some work done to make sure that it did move to Week 0, because if this was not Carolina's first game, the next two on the Tar Heels schedule are on the road. They're at Appalachian State next week and then at Georgia State the week after that. And the Tar Heels knew they'd have a young quarterback and thought that it would probably be a good idea if that young quarterback, whoever won that competition, that we now know is Drake May, whoever won that competition would be making either the very first start of their career in the case of May or the second start of their career, if it had been Jacoby Criswell, would be this game. And so the Heels wanted to make sure that that was at home, and so that's why they're starting so early, and they're ready to go. And you know, Tank, this is, to me, a really important season for Carolina. I think if you follow the Tar Heels closely, you know that they have been accruing better and better talent. You're starting to see some of that talent from this last recruiting class or two populate the two deep a little bit more, and now it's time for that talent to start showing in the results on the field, and they'll start trying to do that coming up on Saturday.
Obviously, Sam Howell no longer there. He's gone to the NFL, playing for the Washington Commanders. We have high hopes for his rookie season. Maybe he'll get a chance to start some games. But looking at the Tar Heels, we knew it was going to be a big battle between Drake May and Jacoby Criswell. Tell us what the coaches are saying about Drake and why he got the nod.
You know, I truly do think this was a really close competition, and there are times when you have, I can think, and not that far or not that long ago for Carolina, when you're having a competition in the preseason or in training camp to try to decide who that quarterback is, and you just kind of have to choose somebody because you have to, even though nobody's really grabbed the job. I don't think that was the case here. I think either one of these guys would have been a solid choice and a good choice for Carolina. And the coaches truly do believe that either one of these two players could guide Carolina's offense and could move them up and down the field and could put some points on the board. You know, and it was an equal distribution of the reps as far as who was with the blue team, as Carolina calls it, or the white team. And so it really was a true equal competition. You know, I think Drake May, just according to the coaches, they feel like he gives the team the better chance to win the game when he walks out there first right now. I don't think that means that you're never going to see Jacoby Criswell. I think he will play likely some on Saturday, and you will see him some throughout the year. In fact, Tank, I mean, it's more unusual to me what the Tar Heels have been able to do these last 3 years, where they had one guy take pretty much every meaningful snap for 3 consecutive seasons. And there were a couple times, you know, Sam Howell did not play in the game against Wofford last year. There were a couple times in his freshman year where he was taken out for a series or two if he was struggling. But for the most part, he took every snap for Carolina in a meaningful moment for 3 consecutive seasons. And that's hard to do. And so more times than not, you need more than one really good quarterback. And the Tar Heels feel like they are in good position with those two guys right now.
Well, the quarterback battle it's not out of the way by any stretch. I mean, I was listening to Phil Longo the other day doing his press conference and saying that it was like trying to choose between his 2 daughters, whether he was going to choose his 9-year-old or his 11-year-old, that it was just impossible to choose, but that they were going to start with Drake, and, you know, he won't play the entire game, not expected to play the entire game with Florida A&M. We'll see some Jacoby Criswell, and it could be an evolving thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, and to better answer your first question, you know, I think, you know, Drake May checks a lot of boxes, right? I mean, he was a 5-star recruit. Not that automatically means that you're going to be successful, but he's been identified as someone who has a high amount of talent for a long time now. He's got good size. He's almost 6'5". He can really sling the football. He's mobile. I think he's much more mobile than you might give him credit for. Just whatever you're picturing in your head for Drake May, I think he can probably move a lot better than you may think. And certainly he's got the lineage at Carolina. Now, again, not that necessarily played any role in this, but his dad was a quarterback at Carolina. His mom was a cheerleader here. We know what his brother did for the basketball team. So, there are a lot of things that make sense about this relationship. Not that, again, those played in the role in him earning this job, but I do think that it is a natural fit for Drake May at Carolina. And so, but that's not to say, that's also, I think it's worth remembering, he's a redshirt freshman, and so he just hadn't seen that much time. He played a half against Wofford last year, and so will Drake May make some mistakes? Probably. Will there be some series that the coaches just feel like, hey, you know what, let's let him head to the sideline and just get a breather and regroup some? I think that's a viable thing that could happen, and that's why it is so great for the Tar Heels to be able to then go to somebody else that they feel they have a high amount of confidence in Jacoby Criswell.
Talk about the running back room, because unfortunately, who was penciled in to be the starter this year, British Brooks, suffered a season-ending injury, and so now it is a, I don't want to say a revolving door, but you got a lot of guys to choose from at the running back position. I think DJ Jones is going to be the starter to start the season, but there's a lot of hype about George Pettaway.
Yeah, well, let's start with British Brooks. First of all, you hate it for him individually. I mean, he's such a great story of somebody who came on as a walk-on, earned time as a special teamer, then became the special team captain, then started earning some reps as a backup running back, and then now, in his fifth year, was penciled in as the starter, and he was going to start this game against Florida A&M. And so, Tank, first and foremost, you just hate it for him. That's just such a tough story for the individual. For the team, I think you're really losing a terrific leader, an excellent special teams player as well. The silver lining for Carolina there is I do think running back is a position that the Heels are extraordinarily deep, and I think that they feel like they're pretty darn talented as well. You mentioned DJ Jones, somebody who's been in the program for the last couple of seasons. DJ's a good pass blocker, good pass catcher, a smaller guy. Carolina's wanted him to be a more effective between-the-tackles type of runner. We'll see if he can take some steps in that direction as this season moves along. He's had trouble staying healthy. That'll be important as well, especially if you're going to be a guy that's going to get a bunch of carries. Elijah Green's another player that has played some in the past for Carolina, has really fast running back. Caleb Hood, Tar Heel coaches really liked him last year. He got hurt early in the season and then just never could quite get back, and by the time he did, it was late, and he just wasn't, there wasn't really enough time for him to get back in the mix, but, he was somebody that the Tar Heel coaches liked last year and have liked again this year. And then you mentioned one of two names that Carolina fans are likely going to hear a lot of, I think, at some point this season, and that's George Pettaway along with Omarion Hampton. And those two true freshman running backs are really, really talented. There's still things about the college game that they're going to have to learn, and just nuances of the game that are more difficult at this level than the high school level. But they have some things that you just can't teach. And so, I think Hampton and Pettaway, maybe not in game one, Tank, I don't know, but I think at some point this season they're going to become very familiar to Tar Heel fans.
And is that the future 1-2 punch, or at least that's got to be what the coaches are hoping. This is going to be the next Williams, Carter, or Johnson & Johnson back from the days when I was a kid.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the Tar Heels have a long lineage of terrific running backs. You can go back to Amos Lawrence and Kelvin Bryan and Derek Finner a little bit after them, Natrone Means. I mean, Mike Voigt, if you want to go all the way back to the 70s. I mean, Carolina's had some terrific running backs in its history, and Mac Brown in his two tenures at Carolina has had some terrific running backs, and so those are big shoes to automatically say that these guys are going to be able to fill. But I do think the talent level is there for both of these players, and so I know a lot of people around Carolina football are excited to see what they eventually become because they think it could be pretty special.
Josh Downs is no doubt the I guess the name that you know the most, the more familiar face on this offense. once you get past Josh Downs, though, how deep is that receiver core? How deep is the talent there?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a viable or a valid question for the Tar Heels this season, because there's no doubt, Josh Downs is by far the most experienced and proven player that Carolina has on that side of the ball. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's coming off a season with 101 catches and more than 1,300 yards. Both of those were Carolina single-season records. He's rightfully a preseason second-team All-America. I mean, he is one of the elite players at that position in the country. But I think also, Tank, by the end of last year, you saw teams really selling out to take him away. And so you've got to find other ways to move the football through the air if you're the Tar Heels. And they took an injury blow in that regard as well, with Antoine Green going down in the early portion of training camp. The good news with Antoine compared to British Brooks is he is expected to return this season. The hope is the Notre Dame game around that time period is the hope for his return, so that will be good. A veteran player, a guy who's coming off a very good year as well, and Antoine Green hoping to get him back soon. So after you get past those two, I think there is talent, but there is some unproven talent. You're looking at Gavin Blackwell, who's had a terrific training camp for Carolina, but a redshirt freshman who only played a handful of snaps last year. You're looking at Kobe Paysour, another young player who only played a small amount last year. J.J. Jones, a second-year player who has just played he played a little bit in the second half of the season last year for Carolina. All three of those guys are either sophomores or redshirt freshmen, so young players. Andre Green, another true freshman that I think Carolina fans will know. And there's Antoine Green and Andre Green, both wide receivers, so that can get a little confusing. But Andre is the freshman who physically looks the part already. He's big, he can run, he's got strong hands. I think he's another one that as this season matures, I think you'll learn a lot about if you're a Tar Heel fan. So the numbers themselves at that position, Tank, are a little lower. Carolina came into the season with, I believe it was 8 total scholarship wide receivers, a little bit lower than you would like. But the talent is there. The depth maybe not quite as much, so they're going to need to make sure that they can keep those guys healthy as they move through the year.
Now, hopefully the offensive line will be able to keep the new quarterback, whoever's in the game at the time, whether it be Jacoby or Drake May, keep them healthy throughout the season, keep them protected, because that was a big problem that really shone through in that Virginia Tech game first off last year.
It was a problem all season long. I think it was one of the 3 biggest problems that Carolina had last year just from a straight football perspective. One was penalties. The Tar Heels just had way too many. They were 118th in the nation out of 130 teams as far as penalty yardage per game, and that just can't happen if you're going to be a good team. Secondly was explosive plays allowed defensively. Carolina, and that kind of summed up, I thought, the defense in total last year, Tank, where there would be some good moments, but it just wasn't consistent enough, and there were too many breakdowns that allowed some really huge chunk yardage type of plays. And then the third thing is the sacks. Carolina gave up 49 of them. That's an incredible number. The fact that they were able to still move the ball and score the way they did with that amount of sacks is a credit to Phil Longo and Sam Howell and everybody else who was helping guide that offense. But that's got to be better. There were only 3 teams in the entire country that gave up more sacks per game than the Tar Heels did last year. And especially with a younger quarterback this time around, that could be even more dangerous if you're allowing those type of numbers. And so, I think it's a joint operation. The offensive line has to be better, and the quarterback has to make quick decisions with the football. And so Carolina, it's been a point of emphasis since last year ended, and it absolutely has to improve for the Tar Heels to be better this year. And Tank, honestly, they get a good challenge in that regard here in this Week 0 game. Florida A&M, while it is an FCS team, it was an extraordinarily quality defense a season ago. They were really, really good. They gave up fewer than 300 yards per game, only allowed about 17 points. They forced 25 turnovers on the season, and they had more than 40 sacks as a team, Florida A&M did last year, including an individual, Isaiah Land, who led the nation, no matter what level of football, led the nation in sacks last year for an individual with 19. That's a big number. And so they get a good challenge. Again, it's an FCS opponent, but they get a good defense that has proven that it can get after the opposition's quarterback, and that's something Carolina needs reps on here early in the year.
Well, obviously the defense for the Tar Heels was lacking in some areas last year. You already mentioned the giving up the explosive plays and such, but that's when you get on the horn to an old friend and call up Gene Chizik, and he transformed this defense once. What's it been like since he's been back in town?
You know, a lot of the words, kind of the buzzwords that you hear from the Tar Heel defenders, Tank, you hear communication a lot. You hear simplifying. I think that's a word you hear a lot in football. I think from the Carolina perspective, it's not a scheme thing as more of it's just a fewer amount of checks and calls that Carolina will go into any given week on. You know, Gene Chizik is very big on being fundamentally sound and letting your talent go play. And I mentioned that at the very beginning, that Carolina has upgraded its talent. I think the Heels continue to do that with the quality recruiting that they have had, particularly over these last 3 or 4 years. And so Gene Chizik wants to go let that talent play, but he wants that talent to play with quality tackling and without penalties and being in the right place and communicating properly from position to position. And so Carolina may not try to do as much defensively. They still want to be multiple and a challenge to figure out. But more than anything, they want to be fundamentally sound. They want to be good tacklers. They want to be in the right place. And they feel like they have quality enough players that if they do those relatively basic things, that they should set themselves up for a high amount of success on that side of the ball.
Oh, we know that we're going to have one of the best secondaries in the conference with Tony Grimes and Storm Duck coming back for another year. And they're not the only ones. There are some playmakers all over this defense.
Yeah, got to stay. You know, Storm Duck's got to stay healthy. You know, he's a guy. I think he's only played 8 games over the last 2 years. And so he's got a ton of talent, but he's just got to stay healthy. And the Carolina is facing a couple injuries in that secondary. You know, Jaquarius Conley tore his ACL late in the year last year, so he's still working his way back. The hope is that he will be playing for Carolina by midseason, but is not ready. It's not expected to be anywhere close to being ready here on Saturday against Florida A&M. But there are some talented players, and you know, Tank, especially up front. You know, I really think Carolina's defensive line, and I thought this last year and I was wrong, but I just, you know, you're seeing some of those same names, but you're also seeing some of those really talented young players that are starting to make a name for themselves and starting to see more opportunities. And gosh, I just feel like that defensive line can be really, really good. And if you have a good defensive line and you don't have to pressure to get pressure on the quarterback, if you can do it with 4, that just makes you so much more dangerous defensively. I don't know if the Tar Heels are there 100% of the way, but man, it sure does feel like they're getting closer. It looks like it on paper. Now it has to happen on the field.
And we'll see it happen this Saturday night, 8:15 scheduled kickoff for the Tar Heels and Florida A&M. We'll have the coverage with Jones Angell and the rest of the crew right here on ESPN Asheville, and the games all season long. Get your tickets now because I hear they're going fast. I saw the announcements that the Notre Dame game and the Virginia Tech game have already sold out, so get those tickets now.
Yeah, and looking forward to a great crowd on Saturday night. And, you know, night kick, first game in a while in Kenan Stadium. It's not supposed to be too hot, which is always something you got to think about when you're kicking off in August. And, you know, need a bunch of cool stuff going on around the game. There's an HBCU celebration. Florida A&M is a historically black college, and so Carolina, in conjunction with A&M, has done some cool things around the game. Florida A&M's band is going to be here, the Marching 100, universally known as one of the most entertaining and highest quality marching bands at this level. And so there should be some fun pageantry around the game, and always excited to get the season started for sure.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Jones, we will catch up with you next week, sir. Glad to have you back for football season.
Me too, Tank. Talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. We will be right back here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound delays approaching Brevard Road to the French Broad River. Smoky Park Highway northbound approaching Sand Hill Road delays. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road moving incident-free. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. Tunnel Road moving well. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has all your dorm or remote learning and workplace solutions covered. This week, get 25% off desks, filing and storage solutions, lighting and decor, and more when you purchase any chair at Staples. In-store only offer ends 9/24. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store.
It's the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. And it's a cutoff race in the NASCAR playoffs. You remember what happened last year, right? September 17th. Go to BristolMotorspeedway.com and get your tickets before they're gone.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
We have that flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Can someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. One little time out for Tar Heel time, and, Aaron Donald loses his mind.
This could be a potentially very, very large story.
Yes.
There is a video that has just come out from the Cincinnati Bengals LA Rams joint practice where Aaron Donald just went full Myles Garrett with two helmets in his hand.
Gosh. And the video is very damning. I see two hits with the helmet.
He bounced one off somebody's head.
Yes.
I have no idea who it was, and I can't tell if they're in a helmet, but it certainly hit something.
And they were able to push him away and push him to the ground to stop the flailing of the helmet. But once Roger Goodell and the rest of the NFL gets a hold of this, it's not going to be good for Aaron Donald.
No, this is not going to be good. And I'm telling you, you might think I'm overreacting to this. I could see a path where you don't see Aaron Donald for a minute.
Well, what was Myles Garrett's suspension? 10 games?
He was suspended for the rest of that year, but I don't remember how long that actually was.
Right. But then he was suspended for part of the next season too, wasn't he? Didn't he miss like the first 3 games of the next season? I can't remember off the top.
No, he was reinstated at the beginning of the year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this could be bad for the L.A. Rams. Aaron Donald losing his mind at practice, and the league just is not going to put up with this.
It was 6 games for Myles Garrett.
6 games.
And he was the first one to do it. So I could easily see a path that this is more.
Wow.
I mean, you're one of the faces of this league on the reigning Super Bowl champions.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, I said something, about a week ago about joint practices?
Yep.
And I caught a lot of flack for that, especially from people inside the league that had heard what I said. I get the merit of joint practices. I do. I would argue they're more beneficial than a preseason game is because you can set all of the narratives. The problem is you will do things in practice that you would not necessarily do if there was a camera on you. And I think this may be the undoing of this. This video is really bad.
I would not hate to see it, honestly.
This video is really bad.
The joint practices, while they may serve a purpose, they also...
Well, I mean, this was a trial year. We've been doubling up with teams to mitigate the preseason. And again, I can't say this emphatically enough. I understand the premise. I understand the value. This one event by itself may be enough. This may be enough that no team wants to do it moving forward.
Well, this isn't the only one. We've already seen fights break out at several of these joint practices.
No, and fights are one thing. This is, you're not going to get out of this unscathed.
Right.
And I'll, as clearly as I can say it, this just happened. I mean, we're within 5 minutes of this actual event happening. So this is totally coming off the cuff. I will be shocked if he doesn't end up suspended for half the year.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll get weird, and we'll talk about what we've learned through the preseason for the NFC.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the bigger rains off to our southeast and just isolated thunderstorms here in the mountains early tonight, drifting southeast. Low tonight 62 degrees and hit and miss storms for Friday through this last weekend of August. Temperatures in the low 80s. Looks like we do see some cooler weather finally showing up early September here with some 70s for high temps into late next week. So stay tuned. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound delays between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound light delays between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road slow. Hendersonville Road moving well. Overlook Road, no backups. Checking the drive time from downtown Asheville to Asheville Regional Airport via 26 eastbound, drive time 22 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse of Asheville.
It's the Labor Day sale at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to $1,000. Plus, get free next-day delivery. Don't lose sleep over it with mattresses starting at just $99. Get 0% interest financing and a 1-year price guarantee. Visit Mattress Warehouse.
You ever feel like when you're at work, everything you say sounds like this because you're completely unstimulated and you don't care?
But then, when you're talking to your friends about things you're truly interested in and passionate about, you sound like you're alive and loving every moment of it. Then maybe you should try podcasting with Spreaker from iHeart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. Just head over to Spreaker.com, Spreaker, and start your voyage from ugh to woo!
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license. You total your car. You kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
All right, back here in the Sportsocracy, time to get weird. And wildlife officials down in Florida have been trying to study Burmese pythons. Burmese pythons are not native to America or to Florida, but people keep getting them from exotic pet shops and illegal, importation from China. And so they decided that they were going to start catching Burmese pythons and putting trackers in them to see how invasive the species is and what their behavior is going to be like on the ecosystem down in Florida. Well, recently they went to track some of these Burmese pythons, and they found 2 cases where the snake that they were trying to find was not the snake that they found. They, in fact, found pit vipers, also known down there as the cottonmouth. They found pit vipers had eaten the Burmese pythons with the trackers in them, and, well, the trackers just kind of got stuck inside the new snake, which is a bonus for Florida wildlife officials because they did not know that pit vipers will eat Burmese pythons. So, I mean, really, you were hoping to learn something. Well, you did. You learned that the ecosystem in Florida is actually going to, in some cases, take care of itself. They did x-rays on one of the snakes, and you can see the tracker inside the pit viper, but also curled up inside of it is the spine of the other snake that it had eaten. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. You don't want Burmese pythons taking over the Everglades.
I'm more scared of the machines or the birds taking over, and, well, that's the gist of this story and my crime story in the next hour.
Oh, no.
If you're like me, you have a bit of a problem losing your keys.
Okay.
Well, Brandon Delali of Detroit, Michigan, has gone to an extreme step to keep that from happening. He had his key implanted in his hand. He drives a Tesla. Obviously, the Tesla, if the key is close to the door, all you have to do is wave the key, unlocks the door.
Okay.
He had it implanted in his hand.
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
Nope, sure doesn't, because when the machines overthrow, their point device is in your hand. That would be weird enough by itself, except for the fact that he's not really a stranger to doing this.
Okay.
The key for his front door is in his other hand, along with his contact and medical information, including his COVID-19 vaccination status.
Wonderful.
Stop. Put it in your wallet and go away, Brandon Delali. Getting a key implanted in your hand.
So he had the key fob implanted in his hand.
Yep.
And I guess his house is the same way. His house runs on a key fob rather than an actual lock.
So all he has to do is get close to the door and the front door unlocks.
Because the first thing that came to my mind when you said he had it implanted was like, you remember Inspector Gadget? The finger comes off and the key comes out.
This is one of those things that somebody would walk up to me and say, yeah, my key's implanted in my hand. And I would go, I already don't like you. I don't need to know anything else about you. You trust the government and machines way too much. Let me guess, you got a bird as a pet, don't you? This is Squawky. He's my friend. Mm-hmm. You'll be the first one to go. The more you know.
NFL training camps and preseason all winding down. This is the last week of the NFL preseason. We got the action kicking off tonight. We got the Chiefs and the Packers.
And this should be a dress rehearsal for both teams.
Yeah, but
as much as you're going to see a dress rehearsal.
I was going to say you said that about games last week, and I don't think there was a soul who played last week.
Oh no, a lot of people played. This didn't play much. Apparently, the third game is going to be for the teams that are going to do it. This will be the dress rehearsal game.
Mm-hmm.
I will have picks for both of those games at the end of the next hour.
Excellent.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't say 15-2 against the spread. The preseason. What more could you possibly ask for?
You got the Chiefs and the Packers and the 49ers and the Houston Texans tonight. So what have we learned about NFC teams during this preseason, other than Aaron Donald's getting ready to get smacked with a suspension?
Yeah, it's not going to be good. Well, you have to ask me a team. There are 16 teams in the conference.
Okay. Well,
it's not just a broad. Well, you know what I learned? We should probably stop doing joint practices.
I would agree with that.
There's the broad one.
I would agree with that, namely because I'm selfish and I want to see somebody I know play in the preseason. And I think the joint practices are a reason that we haven't seen guys play.
That's probably part of it, but even if they take those away, I think the preseason has jumped the shark.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you this, I'm not the only one that has just absolutely eviscerated this preseason. That is one way to accelerate this. When Vegas starts getting just throttled by it, and they are, that's another thing where, okay, let's stop doing this.
All right, let's take the LA Rams. First off, the defending Super Bowl champions. What have you learned about them in this preseason, despite them not showing you anything?
They played absolutely no one.
Right.
I've learned that if a kid with the last name Durant wears the number 14 jersey, he'll trend on Twitter. Look, it's Kevin's little brother. No, it's not.
No.
There's not much to glean from the Rams. If I had to take one away, their running back room is weird. I trust zero running backs for the LA Rams.
Not even
Cam Akers. I don't care. I trust none of them. That rotation has been bizarre, and that's putting it nicely.
Mm-hmm. How about the New York Giants?
I'm really starting to like the Giants the more that time goes on.
But why?
I'm just seeing little bursts of things. You know, the Kayvon Thibodeau injury has been the story of the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
The way the offense runs, it could very easily be a little gimmicky because you've got two receivers that don't really run routes that are going to be in your top three. The other thing I've gleaned from the Giants, Kenny Golladay is done like dinner. He looks somewhere between 76 and 96 years old. Hasn't played much, but when he has, it has been hard to watch.
Mm-hmm. Still, I don't like the prospects for them this year.
I'm warming to the Giants. Saquon Barkley. You want to take away? Saquon. He's falling in every fantasy draft, and I'm telling you, he'll be better than you think.
Saquon looks good. Kenny Golladay, not so much. Stay in the East. Give me the Washington Commanders. What's your take on what have you learned about them?
I will say the same thing about them that I said about the Rams. Their running back room is going to be a little strange, but RELAX. I have seen people just ready to jump off bridges about Antonio Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell the same stat that I told 2 weeks ago. How many running backs in the NFL had more touches than Antonio Gibson last year? 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like he wasn't fumbling last year. This is not a new problem. Calm down about Brian Robinson. Calm down about J.D. McKissick. Antonio Gibson is going to be fine.
Minnesota Vikings.
I think the defense is better than people let on. I know somebody in the YouTube comments said Colin Cowherd had them pegged to go 13-4. That's insane. Where Colin was wrong.
Right.
The other thing I've learned, your backup quarterbacks were bad.
When you're relying on Nick Mullins.
When you have to go trade for a backup because the two of them were so collectively terrible that you felt like if Kirk Cousins went down, you'd be the worst team in the NFL, that is frightening.
New Orleans Saints.
I like this offense. Mm-hmm. And I am going to heap praise on it until the end of time. But if I have to say something mean, Ian Book is the worst player in the NFL, and it is not all that close. I'm convinced Ian Book does not belong in the USFL, let alone the NFL.
Wow.
He is horrid.
That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Jameis Winston today saying he's ready to go right now. He is ready to go. And I don't really have any. I don't have any fear with Jameis Winston. I think he's going to have a big season. I do. San Francisco 49ers.
Trey Lance is a dude. He's a dog. And even if he's not super accurate, be very, very careful what you believe. Watch the games. It's not that hard to figure out. Mm-hmm. Plus, that defensive line has an extra player. Javon Kinlaw is exactly what I told you he was when he was drafted. I don't know if he was hurt. He did have some health issues. He has been tremendously good through 2 preseason games.
We'll see this other team from the NFC North tonight, the Green Bay Packers.
You better hope Romeo Doubs is everything he has been billed to be. Still haven't seen Christian Watson. This is really going to fall on Romeo Doubs and the few veterans you have in that room. Mm-hmm. Now, with Aaron Rodgers, I've said this before. I don't really care. But Romeo Doubs is the only one of these guys that has really shown to have big play potential. And now he has gotten to a point that so many people are on him that he almost cannot pay off value-wise.
How much of a different level is Aaron Rodgers on? Did you see this? Sammy Watkins said that playing with Patrick Mahomes was great, but Aaron is just on a whole nother level.
It's so stupid.
Stupid?
It's so stupid.
Okay.
What do you think he's going to say? Well, Aaron's fine because he's my quarterback now, but man, Pat, he was that dude.
No, you just don't have to say anything. We all know.
No,
Why would you throw that out there?
You're going to prop up your quarterback now. It's exactly what you're going to do. It happens time and time and time and time again.
Everybody lost their minds about Devontae Adams talking about Derek Carr going from one Hall of Famer to another.
When one talks about his former quarterback at the expense of his current, then call me.
All right. Oh, let's stay in the North. Tell me what you've learned about the Detroit Lions.
The offense is good. It's deep. They have about 7. I'll be honest with you. There were a couple wide receivers that I almost mentioned with Detroit in the trade thing we did last hour. They have about 7 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more I'm looking at this, the more that offense is going to be good. That offense is going to be – now, defensively, you may not be able to stop a nosebleed with a roll of paper towels, but you're going to be able to score.
But at least – exactly. At least you're going to be able to keep up on the scoreboard. Dallas Cowboys.
What more you want? Bad. You want me to say something nice? Your kick returner seems pretty good. Kevontae Turpin, and that's a good thing because you're going to give him a lot of work.
Philadelphia Eagles.
And I heard you say this earlier on. That may be the best defensive line in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Davis is everything he was billed to be, and that defense is going to be better than people think. I'll go one step further. I am more convinced the Philadelphia Eagles win their division than any team in the NFL. Green Bay Packers, Buffalo Bills, I don't care. I am more convinced of Philadelphia than I am any team in the league.
Wow.
You could
put them over Buffalo. That's big.
I would take 2.5 games with Philadelphia. That they're clear of everybody else, and I'll take the over.
Okay. Winning it in a walk, apparently. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll get what we've learned about the other NFC teams up next.
Traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway, 26 eastbound light delays near the French Broad River, 26 eastbound again slows east of Long Shoals Road to Airport Road, Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse of Asheville.
It's the Labor Day sale at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to $1,000. Plus, get free next-day delivery. Don't lose sleep over it. With mattresses starting at just $99. Get 0% interest financing and a 1-year price guarantee. Visit Mattress Warehouse.
When you bundle your renters and auto insurance with Progressive, you could save money, but it doesn't cover any terrible memories living rent-free in your head.
Hey, just wanted to remind you of that time your kicker missed the extra point and lost the game. Even though he literally never missed an extra point, he chose this playoff game to miss. Yeah, I just noticed you hadn't thought about that in a bit. Wouldn't want you to miss, thinking about it.
Sorry, we can't save you from that memory, but we could save you money bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Renters insurance and bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
This is a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sound experiment. We're looking to find the perfect way to hear Reese's so you'll buy more of them. Here we go. Reese's. 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 Hey, get out of here, you little stinker. Reese's.
Reese's.
Reese's. Peanut Butter Cups. That breathy one sounded very creepy, am I right?
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
It's ESPN Asheville, and yes, the NFL season is just around the corner. Jeremy Green giving us the takeaways from the preseason of the NFC. We'll do the AFC next hour, so don't worry, your team's coming up as well. But first, we got to go with the local team, the Carolina Panthers. What have we learned?
The offensive line's going to be a problem. It's better, but there is no cohesiveness whatsoever. I mean, you got Matt Corral killed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think it's suspicious that you had a season-ending injury to a quarterback that I was not 95% sure was going to make this team? Call me a conspiracy theorist, but you're going to have to figure out some combination with this line that gives Baker any ability to succeed. If he's running for his life, which he's never really had to do before, it could be worse than people are letting on. Defense is fine.
Defense is fine.
I have no issue with the playmakers. I think all that's going to be fine. This offensive line's a problem. And I started getting suspicious about it when Aquanu was not slotted in with the first team until about 15 minutes ago. You got to have some kind of cohesiveness. And this is one of the problems I have with Matt Rule. He treats teams like they're college teams. You don't have 130 players. This is not just interchangeable pieces. This is important. It is important that the left tackle is the left tackle and the left guard is the left guard, and these guys get reps together. I have seen about 14 different combinations of offensive line, and they have not been, in large part, good.
Mm-hmm. The offensive line has been so in flux. I think it should be expected that it's going to be a little rocky to start out. I still think this is going to be a better line than it was last year.
I would agree with that. I just want to see one cohesive five-man lineup for more than 15 seconds.
What have we learned that we didn't know about the Chicago Bears?
Velus Jones may be the best player they've had since Devin Hester with the ball in his hands.
Seriously?
Yes. He is tremendously good with the ball in his hands. The problem is he has the same problem that the player I compared him to on draft night had, Cordero Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
You have to generate the touches because he can't really do anything to get open. He doesn't run routes well. He had a punt return the other night and a kick return. You'll be fine there. Again, going to get a lot of work, so that's a good thing to have.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to find a way to generate his touches, but that kid can play.
Anything trip you about the Tevin Jenkins, Roquan Smith sagas?
Not really. The Tevin Jenkins thing seems to have kind of bled away. Roquan, like I said in the first hour, I don't think you're going to get what you're asking for, so you're going to have to find some way to patch things up and get along.
Right. How about the Arizona Cardinals?
They haven't played many guys in the preseason. That team's just a dumpster fire. Even watching them in the preseason, you got Kyler Murray calling plays. Like, would any reputable coach do that?
No.
No. Well, we wanted Kyler to really understand what it's like. That's still telling me that you don't trust this guy.
Is this part of his work-study program?
I guess. I just look at the Cardinals, and that's a team that I feel pretty confident I know what they are.
And I feel like their season's going to be a lot like their the promo on HBO for their in-season Hard Knocks. Just Cliff Kingsbury sitting there saying nothing. Brilliant promo, guys. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You need to put Tom Brady in bubble wrap.
Yep. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Tom should not literally be allowed to walk out of the facility on his own power. You should put him on a gurney and carry him out in bubble wrap because your backup quarterbacks are terrible, and you're running out of offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm. Which makes me question the whole, hey, Tom Brady's going to start in the game against the Colts. Do we need to?
I will say, if I'm going to say something nice, there have been some nice young standouts defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them in the front seven, not so much the back four. But there have been some players that I could see making the back half of the roster, and some talent there.
All right, save the worst for last. The Atlanta Falcons.
I don't think you're going to believe what's getting ready to come out of my mouth. This team's not good. There's no misgiving there.
I was going to say, completely believe that.
I fully believe in Arthur Smith.
Really?
I watched every second of the game against the Jets. And now look, the Jets played virtually no one. Kyle Pitts. Ooh, Kyle Pitts. Yeah, 52 yards. Yeah, it was on Bryce Hall, who I'm pretty sure has just given up his, all right, I'm the 4 now. I don't care.
Right.
God, he was bad. That was as bad a game as I have ever seen a player have in the preseason. I like Bryce Hall, but, ooh, buddy. I believe in Arthur Smith. I think Arthur Smith is the right guy to turn that franchise around. And you could see it from the first second of that game to the last second. And he never stopped.
And how quickly do you think they can be a threat to the other teams in this division?
I think you still have a problem at quarterback. Look, Atlanta's a team that I have said, Mariota is a bridge. I do not buy Desmond Ridder. I haven't, and I never will, and he has shown me nothing to change that. I feel like they're going to pick in the top 3 next year, probably behind Seattle, probably behind Chicago. One of those teams is going to take Will Anderson, and I think the Falcons will take a quarterback, and 2 years from now, they will look drastically different.
Seattle Seahawks.
There's just not a lot of nice for me to say about Seattle. The offensive line the game against Chicago, You watch that doesn't even look like an NFL franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle may be taking my advice too far because that was putridly bad. It's going to be lumpy if they can figure it. The one thing I'll give Pete Carroll is the exact same thing I dinged Matt Rule on. He put Charles Cross in at the left, Abraham Lucas on the right. Figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You're our guys. Go figure it out. I'll give him that. Pete's still a great coach. That team just has a huge talent deficiency.
Stick with us here in the Sportsocracy. After the Sports Center update, we are going to do the daily draft to kick off the third hour. Jeremy and I will be drafting teams that we believe are going to go over their win totals in Vegas.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the bigger rains off to our southeast and just isolated thunderstorms here in the mountains early tonight, drifting southeast. Low tonight 62 degrees and hit and miss storms for Friday through this last weekend of August. Temperatures in the low 80s. Looks like we do see some cooler weather finally showing up early September here with some 70s for high temps into late next week. So stay tuned. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue, 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway, 26 eastbound light delays near the French Broad River, 26 eastbound again slows east of Long Shoals Road to Airport Road, Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Near Avery Creek Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road delays. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Another injury for the Yankees. This time it's lefty Nestor Cortez. He'll go on the IL with a groin injury. The Yankees open a 4-game series in Oakland against the A's tonight. ESPN has learned Cowboys offensive lineman Tyron Smith will probably be out until at least December after tearing his left hamstring. He got hurt during Wednesday's practice. ESPN's Todd Archer says based on the numbers, Smith's absence will be noticeable.
Zeke Elliott, yards per carry goes down by half. The sack total increases by more than 50%. So you're talking about a guy that is, as much as he's been hurt, has still been an effective player, still was named to the Pro Bowl last season, even with missing as many games as he did.
Todd Archer on This Just In. Smith will have surgery tomorrow. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson won't play in the preseason finale Saturday night against the Commanders. He'll play the season opener without taking any preseason snaps. Novak Djokovic won't play in the U.S. Open. He's still unvaccinated against COVID-19 and not allowed to travel to the States.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our 2022 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword FESTIVAL to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's FESTIVAL to 200-200.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Green, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the third hour of the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tex Spencer. He's Jeremy Green, and we're always live in the Ingles Studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices, love the savings. We are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we are seen everywhere on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And also go into the link or into the description of this video. Click on the link to join the battle for the belt.
The belt is very sweet.
It is.
The prize pack is very sweet. Brian Haynes and I and you will be doing the fantasy football half marathon. All right, we're not Eddie Fox. All right, we got big segments. All right, so we can't do 24 hours because one of us might die.
Right.
But we will be all day fantasy football. We want to get a lot of people signed up for this on Saturday. Super chats, all of those things count. We will explain all of the rules of the Battle of the Belts. I've been asked that a lot. It's really not that intricate, but we'll explain it Saturday. Looking very forward to it. Brian Haynes actually texted me in the break. Very excited to be back on camera.
Yes.
And we're excited to have him.
We are indeed. So it's going to be 9 to 9 on Saturday on the YouTube stream. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel now so you'll get the alert first thing in the morning when you wake up on Saturday.
And you get a double dip of Brian Haynes this week because he and I start the Uncensored Morning Show Wednesday.
Nice.
Wednesday. So if you have been clamoring for the uncensored content, here it comes with the two more vulgar of us.
At the top of the third hour of the program, as we do each and every day, it's daily draft time here in the Sportsocracy. And, with season right around the corner.
Well, I mean, now we're to the end of the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, we've learned some, but maybe not all.
Not a lot.
I feel like now there are a slew of over-under win totals that are just horrid.
Horrid.
So today, we'll pick teams that we both think are going to go over.
Over. All right, we'll do the unders tomorrow.
And tomorrow we'll do the unders.
Okay.
Dallas Cowboys will be a first-round pick. I promise you. Calling my shot now, because if Tank doesn't take them, I will.
All right, so Jeremy, you got first pick today. Who is the one team that you are absolutely sold is going over their win-loss projection for the season?
I don't just think they're going to go over it. I think they're going to eviscerate it.
Eviscerate it.
And it is the Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. I don't know the words.
Now that you're on the Philadelphia bandwagon, I don't think I want them to fail more than I ever have in their entire existence. You're becoming quite insufferable about your Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, they're not my Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they are my Philadelphia Eagles that will probably pay my mortgage from about February until, I don't know, August of next year.
Nice.
It's
quite a chunk. That's a heavy investment.
Let me put it this way. I need no one to tell HWA how invested I am in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot.
I don't really see a deficiency.
Okay.
I don't see one problem on that team. They're in the worst division in the NFL, top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
There is no really dynamic team in that division. And the schedule's just not it's just not it's not that bad.
So how many games do you think they win?
Their over-under is 9.5.
Yes.
I actively have them at 12-5, and I am being harder on them than I should be because I think they're going to go 13-4.
Wow. All right. We'll see if Jalen Hurts takes the step forward this year and is able to get everything out of A.J. Brown that you believe he can, because you love that marriage.
Oh, I do. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect. Jalen Hurts is my favorite quarterback in fantasy football. A.J. Brown is one of my favorite mid-round values that seems to be going lower for some reason that I don't understand.
Because it's Jalen Hurts.
Is he really that much worse of a thrower of the football than Ryan Tannehill? They kind of do the same thing.
They do kind of do the same thing. But, yeah, I would say yes. You have much more faith in Ryan Tannehill than you do in Jalen Hurts as a quarterback.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think they're very similar. And that's not a shot at Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
It's just I'm starting to look at Jalen Hurts the way I looked at Lamar Jackson. Would you work everywhere? No. But now that they've built an entire system around you, okay, I think it works.
Well, Jeremy is the gambling guy. And
I do like to gamble.
He's always better at projecting these things than I am, but there's...
Your objective should be don't take a team that's not on my list. Because I have 12 teams on my list, so if you see me roll my eyes, that was one of those teams that they were not there.
Well, I'm going with the one team that has stood out to me that I look at their win total and go, I feel so much better about this team than Vegas does. With a win total of 8.5 that they are going to destroy, it's the Las Vegas Raiders.
That is not who I thought you were going to say.
Really?
Nope.
Really?
I don't disagree with you. That team they were 4th on my list.
Mm-hmm.
That means I'm either going to get my 2 or my 3, so...
You very well may.
And look, I like the Raiders. And I think that's a great, a very... The thing that makes me nervous is the division. I still look at the Raiders and just go, you know what? I believe in Patrick Graham. I think Josh McDaniels has a bit of a axe to grind, maybe a chip on his shoulder. And so I agree. I do like that one. That is not the team that I like the most that's at 8.5, though.
Well, there is another team at 8.5.
There it is.
I couldn't take them first. I mean, you give me 2 teams that I absolutely hate. One I was falsely accused of hating last year. And the other one, I mean,
it wasn't a false hate.
It was false hate. It's false hate. But this one is a true hate. But I don't think you can deny what that team is and what's on this team. And I have a lot of faith in their quarterback this year. So, again, a team that I think is going to surpass 8.5 wins this year, it's the New Orleans Saints.
There you go. That's the one I thought you were talking about. They were the only team I even considered not taking Philadelphia.
If Jameis Winston has a decent year this year, say he cuts down on turnovers, obviously I don't think he's – I hope anyway that he has learned not to turn the ball over 45 times in one season. If he cuts back on that and can still be as good of a thrower down the field as he was in Tampa, I don't think 12 wins is a bridge too far for this team. And it could be more.
They're one of the only real competitive teams that never plays 3 good teams in a row. The toughest stretch of their schedule is Raiders-Ravens in back-to-back weeks. And guess what? Both in New Orleans, which is going to be a difficult place to play.
Yeah, you're going to like that a lot.
They got a lot of benefits on the schedule. Now there is a stretch that I forgot about. Rams, 49ers, Bucks. That's an ugly 3-game stretch. Other than that, you don't really ever play more than 2 good teams in a row. So I like the Saints a lot. Now, what you have done is allow 2 teams that I am very high on to fall right into my lap. The first one, I'm not going to say that I'm more confident they win the division than the Bills. But in terms of my confidence of who wins their division, the Eagles are 1, the Bills are 2, the Indianapolis Colts are 3. I do not see a way this team does not – I mean, the line's at 9.5. You're going to destroy that.
Are they, though?
Tell me how they don't. Tell me how they don't. Look at the schedule. All right, so you get 2 with Houston. Without even looking at it, I know you get 2 with Houston, 2 with Jacksonville. And you've got a little bit of a, we'll call it bee in your bonnet about Jacksonville from last year. For me, that's 4 wins.
Okay.
To get to 10, all you have to do, split with the Titans, beat 3 of the dogwater teams in the NFC East, catch the Patriots.
That's it?
That's 9.
Okay.
That's 9. And there's not a ton of teams that I'm looking at going, oh, you know, I don't feel that bad about that Raiders team you just said. Yeah, it's in Vegas. That's a toss-up game. I like both of those teams pretty close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a slight at the Raiders. That's just me saying how much I like the Colts. And you look at how the Colts are going to win games. The defense is good. I think now adding Yannick Ngakoue, now you got a pass rusher that actually would scare people. And you're going to run the ball. So when it gets cold, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just telling you, a game that I've had circled for quite some time as a Jeremy's going to bet this much more aggressively than he should. They play the Steelers in Indianapolis the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pittsburgh is a good team. I fully believe that's a game where you're going to go, whoa. What? Because it's in Indy. Dome, no weather, that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
I feel like that's one where you're going to go, man, there is a marked difference between these two. Not a slight at Pittsburgh. I'm just very high on Indianapolis.
Okay. Indianapolis to go over their 9.5 win total.
Now, I have to get cute in that I gotta get the teams that you might take out of the way. And for once, I get to use my little trick here. Take a short break, pick that team next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Heavy traffic volume and delays. 240 westbound between Tunnel Road and Charlotte Street. The shoulder is closed due to an accident near Merriman Avenue in this stretch. 240 eastbound is stop and go between exit 3 and Merriman Avenue. 26 westbound stop and go between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Hendersonville Road southbound is slow between Biltmore Forest area and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road north and southbound near Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by FEMA and the National Flood Insurance Program. It's hurricane season. Flood insurance can help you avoid paying out of pocket for costly damage. It's time to trust your instincts, get flood insurance, and protect the life you've built. Visit floodsmart.gov. Sponsored by FEMA.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think of calling for a ride, but nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that could happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone. The results of driving drunk are tragic. That's why law enforcement is out there looking for impaired drivers to save lives. So if you think you're okay to drive after a few drinks, think again. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
You ever feel like when you're at work, everything you say sounds like this because you're completely unstimulated and you don't care?
But then, when you're talking to your friends about things you're truly interested in and passionate about, you sound like you're alive and loving every moment of it. Then maybe you should try podcasting with Spreaker from iHeart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. Just head over to Spreaker.com, Spreaker, and start your voyage.
From ugh
to woo!
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
It's ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We are in the middle of the daily draft, as we do at the top of the third hour of the program each and every weekday afternoon. And, Jeremy, it is your turn again. We're drafting teams that we feel are going to surpass their Vegas line on wins this year. We'll do the unders tomorrow.
There's one that's screaming to me, and the events of today have done nothing to make me feel worse about this. It's the San Francisco 49ers.
Really?
This is going to be kind of a weird statement because I'm projecting here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me that Aaron Donald is going to miss half of this season, it's a projection. I don't see how you're not going to do it. That video coming out is about as damning as it could possibly be. So you're going to have to punish him somehow. I can't believe it's going to be less than what Myles Garrett got.
No.
If you tell me Aaron Donald does not play half of this year, I'll take the 49ers to win that division.
Really?
I will.
He makes that much of a difference for the defense.
Well, my question would be, if there's no Aaron Donald, even if it's for just half the year, does that not change how you look at Buffalo? So they play week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Does it not change how you look at when they go to San Francisco in week 4?
Yeah.
Both games against San Francisco are in those first 8 games.
Mm-hmm.
You lose them both, you lose the tiebreaker. Now you're going to have to beat them outright. And if you don't have him, I'm not real sure how you're going to get pass rush. And Leonard Floyd, that's adorable. It's a lot easier for Leonard Floyd to do what he does behind Aaron Donald than it is behind, I don't know. Let's go with A'Shawn Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Solely because I don't know which one of the other guys are going to make the roster. So,
right,
not the deepest team I've ever seen.
Right.
And I believed in San Francisco anyway. I really like the offense. I said it earlier that I think the defensive line, Javon Kinlaw showing that he was what they drafted him to be, means the interior of that line is going to be really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Good pass rushers. I liked everything they did in the offseason, and I believe in Trey Lance.
San Francisco 49ers to go over 9.5 wins on this season. I don't think that's too far afield, especially with the reports and everything about Trey Lance. Trey Lance is going to have bumps in the road,
no doubt,
obviously, but I mean those special plays, we could see a whole lot more of them.
Well, I mean, and another element that you do have to at least somewhat acknowledge with the 49ers. Probably no team in the NFL that within their first 6 games plays more bad teams than San Francisco does.
Mm-hmm.
You open with the Bears, the Seahawks, then you get the Panthers and the Falcons to end that 6-game stretch. Yeah, you have the Broncos and the Rams in the middle, but if it's an Aaron Donald-less Rams, I look at that team different, and I don't buy the Broncos that much anyway.
Right. Okay. All right.
Not that they're not good, just that they're as good as they are being advertised to me.
Gotcha. Over-unders are hard for me because, Vegas just puts those numbers in that very special place that you go, I don't know.
Well, they don't have gold fixtures for no reason.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely true. So I'm trying to scour here to see who no doubt I think is going to go over. And I don't know that there are many no-doubters yet. But to me, there is one.
I have one no-doubter left.
And you may not kill me for this, but I may get killed for this by others. It's the Detroit Lions.
No!
6.5 wins? Are you kidding me? All right, look, we believe in the we believe in the offense. The defense is going to struggle, as it has. But I mean, Aiden Hutchinson comes in. He makes a little bit of a more improvement in the pass rush there, and then you look at their schedule, and they have games against the Panthers and the Jets, and obviously the Bears twice. You got the Giants on that schedule, who I don't believe in. Jacksonville could be a winnable game. It's going to be a hell of a shootout game.
I thought I could hide them, and you would not have the fortitude to take them.
No.
Because that's not for the weak at heart.
No, it's not. I mean, 6.5 is it might be a lot for a team that that
defensively may not be very good.
They may not, but they're going to have the offense.
Offensively, they are going to be terrifying.
Indeed, and they're a motivated crew. I've been watching the Hard Knocks, and this team just has that fire that I go, you know what, this might be the year. They're not going to contend for their division, but 6.5 seems very, very low.
I will not be shocked if they finish second in the NFC North. I know that sounds insane.
Ahead of the Minnesota Vikings.
I won't be shocked.
Okay. All right. I don't know that I believe that much in them.
I didn't say I was wagering it. I said I would not be shocked if that's how that went.
But if you
I would be shocked if they finished behind the Bears.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
Would not be shocked if they finished ahead of the Vikings.
And I want to do it again. I want to take another 6.5 team. It's not going to be that one, though.
I wouldn't.
But the Jacksonville Jaguars, over 6.5 wins, I think they can do it. And you know me, I'm a big believer in Doug Peterson. They've got the offensive weapons. I think the defense is going to be better than we expect them to be. They did pull off a couple of wins last year that nobody was expecting them to pull off. And I think if you get one surprise win with the teams that are on your current schedule, you can go 7 wins.
That was one that I looked. It was on the list. They were going to be my last selection because there's 2 you left that make absolutely 0 sense to me.
0 cents? Okay. Tell me.
I'll put it this way. This will be my 4th pick.
Mm-hmm.
You have one of my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
My 5th team is still sitting here, and it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. When's the last time you saw Pittsburgh at 7.5?
Mm-hmm.
There are 7 teams in the NFL with a lower number than theirs. They're tied with a couple. And I understand the schedule's daunting. 2 words, Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
His next season below 500 will be his first.
Yes.
I don't even need him to go above 500. I didn't even get to 8. I think Trubisky starts, even if he doesn't. Kenny Pickett's fine. That's going to be they're not going to be fun to watch.
No.
Be gross, run the ball, play good defense. I'm not going to doubt the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
I'm not. Now, when you get further that high on your list, you can take a bit of a shot.
Right.
This might be the most surprising team I could say right here.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Nope. No. Atlanta, if you get to 5-12, you should make Arthur Smith the mayor of Atlanta. The team's just bad.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about their division today. They're at the same win total number as a team that you don't believe in at all.
Mm-mm.
It's the Washington Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
All I got to do is get to 8.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
I
think it's the second best team in that division.
Again, not a believer. I don't think they're the second best team in that division. Although the Dallas Cowboys they're falling apart. They're falling apart so quickly.
There's been a lot of chatter in the YouTube comments of, you ready to sell on that Cowboy thing yet? Because you really should be.
No.
Yeah, you really should be.
No, because I still think they're better than the Giants and the Commanders.
I don't. And I'll play the same game with the Commanders I did with the Cowboys. Name me the position they're better.
Mm-hmm.
Receivers, not even close. Offensive line, no shot. Defensive line, no shot. Well, you're better at linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous. Sell me on how good your kicker is, because that's about how much I care.
Right.
Secondary, I win. I like this Washington team, and this is a hill I'll die on. I don't care. I don't think they're going to blow it out of the water. I would say your high side's probably 9-8. Your low side's probably 7-10.
Okay. So you're flirting with that 7.5.
If I think your floor is half a game below what your total is, I'm fine.
Okay. Fair enough.
And
right,
now
so
I feel like I have left you nothing.
No, you haven't.
Because my undrafted free agent team, that's I feel very sure you're not going to take them.
Then I will take the team that I continue to rave about. It's hard to explain how they're going to, with the tough division that they're in, how they're going to get past the 10.5 games line that they have right now, but it's the Los Angeles Chargers. If I'm wagering on one team that is at that 10-win mark or higher, I think it's Los Angeles. Buffalo's not bad, but they're at 11.5, and I could, I'm fading that at the moment. But the Chargers.
I am so sure that we're not going to take the same team. I will let you just say yours.
Carolina Panthers. Give them to me.
Well, if the other team that I had was not on the board, that would have probably been my choice.
6.5 for the Carolina Panthers. If all goes well, if Baker can play the absolute best he can, and the offensive line is as good on paper or as good on the field as I think they are on paper, the defense is going to be great. Christian McCaffrey stays healthy. I don't think 7 wins is too far.
I don't disagree with you. But there is one that is lower that I feel.
Stop.
Look.
You're not going to do
not telling you that this team's going to win. 8 games. Just saying they're going to. I believe they will beat the 5.5 that they have been prognosticated for.
We know who it is.
And it's the Jets. Jets.
The 2027 Super Bowl champions.
5.5 is just too low. It's too low.
It's not, though. You're bad.
It's not. It's too low. That number is too low. You're with the Seahawks. That's the only team tied with the Jets. Think about what I just said.
Seahawks under, by the way.
Agreed.
Might be my first round pick.
It's hard for me to throw high numbers in a game like this.
Right.
I mean, if you notice, none of mine were over 9.5.
No.
Just because it's hard for me to. So many things have to go right for things to go that way.
I got Chicago, Seattle. Those are the only 2 games on your schedule that I look at and go, yeah, you're definitely winning those games.
That's fine.
And then other than that, you're going to have to sneak one against the Dolphins or the Patriots or
keep sleeping. It's fine.
I will.
It's fine.
I will.
It's fine. You often say I am the gambling guy.
You are.
There's a reason for that.
All right. There is a reason for that. All right. That is the Overs Daily Draft. Tomorrow we will be drafting the teams that we think will go under their win totals for the upcoming season.
Dallas Cowboy fans, you should be here about 5:01.5. Your team won't last long.
No, coming quick off the board. What we've learned in the preseason about the AFC. It's coming up next, along with the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the bigger rains off to our southeast and just isolated thunderstorms here in the mountains early tonight, drifting southeast. Low tonight 62 degrees and hit and miss storms for Friday through this last weekend of August. Temperatures in the low 80s. Looks like we do see some cooler weather finally showing up early September here with some 70s for high temps into late next week. So stay tuned. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Heavy traffic volume and delays. 240 westbound between Tunnel Road and Charlotte Street. The shoulder is closed due to an accident near Merriman Avenue in this stretch. 240 eastbound is stop and go between exit 3 and Merriman Avenue. 26 westbound stop and go between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Hendersonville Road southbound is slow between Biltmore Forest area and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road north and southbound near Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse of Asheville.
At Mattress Warehouse, free is their favorite four-letter word. Because now when you buy one mattress, you get the second one free. Plus 0% interest financing and free next-day delivery. Hurry, sale ends Thursday, only at Mattress Warehouse.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at RogueCombatClub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
In the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, we have one motto that we love to live by, and we like to share this with you each and every afternoon. The most important message of the day: do not do crimes. Crime does not pay unless you're D.B. Cooper. It's the only one. And speaking of heists, there has been a heist out in California on I-5. There was a truck stop last month that some thieves decided to visit because, well, I don't know, maybe they knew what was inside the truck. I'm not sure if it says Brinks on the side of the tractor trailer, but Brinks was doing a major delivery for a big jewelry show in California. And there were millions and millions of dollars of jewelry on this truck. And at about 2:05 in the morning, the truck stopped. And the driver goes in to get something to eat. There was another driver. There's always two drivers. But the one, he was catching some Z's in the sleeping compartment. While the one is in the truck stop getting food, and the other one's sleeping, somebody got into the back of it, cut the thing open, and they stole 22 bags of jewelry. There is no telling, or they're not telling, I guess I should say, just what items were taken but there is some discrepancy on how much it's worth. Brink says that tops, this was $10 million worth of jewelry that was stolen. The jewelry stores, of course, claiming it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 million. Now, the manifest, there are lawsuits going on right now between Brinks and these jewelers because the jewelers are saying, well, we always write down less than what we put on the truck. I don't know what the purpose of that would be. One store owner says we've always just put down $400,000 regardless of how much we put on there. So there's some, like I said, wide discrepancy on how much was actually stolen. But if it is in the neighborhood of $100 million, it would be one of the biggest heists in U.S. history. I just don't understand, like, how do you do that? And first off, the guy stopped to go pee, apparently, 15 minutes before he stopped to go get food. The log shows that it was only about a 20-minute span between stops, which sends a major red flag for me. Jeremy, you agree?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking we're going to find out more about this, and it may come out that the drivers were in on it or not. Who knows? But it just so happens that after you had already made a pee stop, then you stopped for food 20 minutes later after going about 30 miles, and you also parked in the darkest place with the tail or the back end of the truck away from the door. No surveillance footage. It's a lot fishy about this whole heist, but it could be one of the biggest in U.S. history.
Monterey, California has a problem, and it's a weird problem. They have a statue. It sits in the town square, and it has now been stolen for a second time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the weird part of the story. People steal things all the time. It's what the statue is of. It's a little bronze statue of Dennis the Menace that has now been stolen twice. This thing has a bit of a weird a bit of a weird story. It was placed in the late 90s. It was stolen in October of 2006.
Okay.
2007, they put up a replacement. 8 years pass. They find a Dennis the Menace statue in a scrap metal yard in Orlando. They fly it to Monterey. They figure out it's not theirs. It was apparently outside of a children's hospital. Why did two people have a statue of a cartoon figure that hasn't been relevant in 35 years?
Don't know.
I don't get it. And I've read this story in 9 different places. Nobody ever explains why they have this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now they want it back.
Nice. Dennis the Menace.
Apparently he had to cut it with some kind of grinder. It was concreted into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 3 feet tall and weighs 125 pounds.
But why would you want it?
I don't know. Hey, look, kids, this is a cartoon character that I was your age since anyone cared about.
With no feet. Makes absolutely no sense.
I was also going to tell a story, oddly enough, also from California. San Diego County, 14,000 people without power because crimes were done.
Mm-hmm.
And the culprit of that crime, a bird. It flew into the power grid.
That's not a crime.
That's how they're going to overthrow the government. I'm telling you. The more you know.
It's not crime.
Hashtag birds aren't real.
That's not crimes.
Whoever was flying the bird, 100% crimes.
Stop that.
Where do you think they got the technology for drones? Been flying birds for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
The more you know.
The more you know. Speaking of what we know, what have we learned in the preseason of the NFL? We talked about what we learned about the NFC teams in the last hour. Now it's time for the AFC teams. And, you know, I'm not saying that I'm throwing a bone out there for my favorite operations manager of all time, but I got delivered some great news by one Brian Hall today, so I figured we would just start with his Miami Dolphins. He's got me hooked up. We're going to see Tom Brady in October in Charlotte. Cannot wait.
And I'm tagging along to do nothing but make this as unpleasant as humanly possible. The Miami Dolphins, they're good with bad. The good is I think you actually may have 3 NFL quarterbacks. Teddy Bridgewater's been fine. I still maintain this team is better with him than they are with Tua. I have been told maybe I am overlooking Mr. Tua. We shall see. Skylar Thompson, the kid out of Kansas State, has been tremendous. The thing that would scare me, you can't run to save your life. So maybe I'm lumping all of the Shanahan disciples together because none of them have been able to run. I hope for your sake this is a preseason thing because the Jets haven't. The 49ers, they've been better, but it's still not anything really to jump up and down about. And the Dolphins have been terrible. So I really hope this is just a preseason thing, but the rushing attack in Miami is something you should be nominally worried about.
Okay. All right. Tell us about the Cleveland Browns.
A lot has been made about their receivers. All right. It's Amari Cooper, a rookie, and David Bell, and Donovan Peoples-Jones. David Bell's been pretty good.
Yeah, he has.
He's been pretty good. So, I mean, I know it's against twos, but he is showing that some of the concerns that people like me had when he came out, maybe it's not that big a deal. Maybe he is just a guy that you have to manufacture some of the touches. He's not a great route runner, but he has been very productive for the Browns.
And I think you undersell DPJ way too much. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
I'm going to say you overvalue him, and I think I've got him pegged pretty well. He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
Pittsburgh Steelers. You believe in this team? I do not.
Good news, bad news. Your quarterback situation, I don't think is that big a deal. Bad news, your offensive line is bad. So hopefully you can figure something out between now and the start of the season. But that offensive line is horrendously bad.
Is it worse than last year's?
Might be. If it's not, it's close, which is weird because it's virtually the same guys with one actual talented player. And you actually brought in 2 because you have Mason Cole and James Daniels. I'm gonna hope it's a preseason thing, but the offensive line would terrify me if I was a Steelers fan.
Let's head down to Jacksonville. Talk about the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne. We know the names. We know the players. Are they going to be able to pay off and win me some games this year?
Jacksonville has thrown more of the contributors defensively out there than a lot of other teams, so I feel like people are jumping up and down about, the pass rush is going to be super good. All right, let's see them against guys that aren't going to be working at Home Depot. Calm down. My takeaway, and this is a little preseason, a little things that I've heard coming out of practice. Trevor Lawrence is not going to take 1 step forward. He's going to take about 9 steps forward. No quarterback in the NFL that I feel better about taking the second-year leap than Trevor Lawrence, and it's not even close.
Trayvon Walker's looked really good in the preseason. Let's hope
he can carry it. I don't disagree.
Let's hope he can carry it over into the regular season as well. Again, like you said, when he's not playing against guys who are going to be bagging groceries. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Kansas City Chiefs.
The offense is not as much of a cause for concern as you think. A lot of people have lost their minds. Well, no, Tyreek Hill. The offense is fine. It's fine. The thing that still concerns me, I do not know how you're going to stop anybody. So, and I'm going to say this just to have it on the record, there is at least a 10% chance Pat Mahomes breaks the record for passing yards in a season because they cannot run at all. There is no running back on this team that has looked good. And Ronald Jones may not make this team, which is hilarious to me.
I was going to say, I heard somebody talking earlier today about Ronald Jones being on the trade block. Who would want him?
He's running behind Pacheco. He's running behind Jerick McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If he makes that roster, it will just his greatest ability is his availability.
The Tennessee Titans, running back, not really a problem for them.
No, you don't have to worry about running back there. The line scares me a little bit, but they have 2 players that I really like. It's just there's a lot of buts with this team. Ryan Tannehill, good on play action. But the right side is up in the air, whether it's Nick Petit-Frere, Dylan Reduns, the second-round pick from last year. I worry about everything on offense aside from Derrick Henry. And the fact that I worry about all those things makes me worry about him.
Las Vegas Raiders.
I really don't have many things to say negative of them. Their running back room is going to make your head hurt all year long. They must be absolutely dead in the wind in love with Zamir White.
Mm-hmm. Cut Kenyon Drake loose.
It's not even the cutting Kenyon Drake loose. It's just the way they're using these guys. It's going to be a headache. This is going to be New England 2.0. If you're a fantasy football player, you're planning on checking into our half marathon on Saturday. Avoid Raiders running backs. Like grim death. I don't want any of them.
All right, before we take a break, tell us what we've learned about the Baltimore Ravens.
Isaiah Likely is a dude. And that thing I told you at the draft, if you're going to see more 3 tight end sets, I was not wrong. I could see them playing 2 tight ends or more 85% of the time.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stop and go 240 westbound between Tunnel Road and Charlotte Street due to an earlier accident near Merriman Avenue. 240 eastbound stop and go between exit 3 and Merriman Avenue. 26 westbound heavy delays between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound stop and go between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. 40 westbound delays between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road delays. Hendersonville Road southbound delays between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. And on Brevard Road north and southbound delays between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Warehouse of Asheville.
It's the Labor Day sale at Mattress Warehouse. Save up to $1,000. Plus, get free next day delivery. Upgrade to an adjustable base for free. With mattresses starting at just $99, there's a mattress to fit every budget. Visit Mattress Warehouse.
It's week 2 of the Buncombe County Game of the Week, and we get to see the Pisgah Bears make the trip over to Inca to take on the Jets. This will be the season opener for Mike Sexton's ball club, who look to carry over the momentum from a playoff run a year ago. Sports Tank Friday gets us started at 6:30. The Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show is at 7. On AM 1400 and TuscolaRadio.com, it's East Rutherford at Tuscola. Cowboy John and the gang will get things going at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Venture X from Capital One is the travel card for people always asking,
where next?
You earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars, and 5x miles on flights booked through Capital One Travel, and 2x miles on everything else you buy with Venture X. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
If you love true crime podcasts, before you skip past the Lords of Soccer, thinking it's just another sports show,
you may think you know what FIFA is, what it does. It's not exactly that.
I'm Connor Powell, the host of the Lords of Soccer, how FIFA stole the beautiful game. It's true crime on a global scale. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices Media is out now. Find us on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you like to listen.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Roots and wings. The two greatest gifts any parent can give their kid. But when it's time for them to head off to college, there's also groceries, laundry detergent, notebook paper, ironing instructions, and futons that assemble with parts left over. At Ingles, we have all the comforts of home right around the corner. We know that life's biggest steps are best taken with faith and trust in the ones you love the most. Ingles, all the ingredients for family.
Back here in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. Tomorrow in this segment, you're going to hear Jeremy lose his mind. Week 0 picks
All
as
the
college
picks.
football
Baby!
gets underway once again. We are talking about what we've learned in the preseason with the AFC teams. Your favorite, the New England Patriots, Jeremy.
You're going to see what I said about Mac Jones this year. You're going to see what I said about he is limited, and it is going to be on full display. And Bill's arrogance about this is going to make it all the more entertaining for me to watch.
New York Jets.
This is going to pain me to say. I'm not sure this team's not better with Joe Flacco than they are with Zach Wilson.
Wow.
I'm not.
Why? Zach just trying to do too much? Is he trying to play hero?
Look, they played 3 starters the entirety of that game against Atlanta. The backups are not great, but now the backups. Hey, Chris Streveler, mulleted man, fur coat wearing, gold chain loving. Love that guy. I'm hoping he's the 3rd quarterback. Not that anybody cares, but I do.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Haven't seen a lot from them either. I'm warming to the defense. There are just little pieces that I see that are they're going to be role players. They're going to be special teams guys. This is a better tackling team than they were a year ago.
The Denver Broncos.
It seems to me that I'm going to say the same thing about Denver that I did with Baltimore. I won't be shocked if they run a ton of 2 tight end sets. With Tim Patrick going down, now I'm looking at your receiving core going, all right, you got KJ Hamler coming off an injury. Sutton, who everybody in Denver has screamed from the mountaintops how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry Jeudy that I've heard virtually nothing about. Makes the Greg Dulcich pick make more sense. And I'm not sure that if I was targeting any receiver for the Denver Broncos not named Cortland Sutton, I'm not sure it's not one of the tight ends. Obviously, Okoyebanam first.
Yes.
Dulcich, very deep, dynasty leagues, things like that. But I think there's going to be more play there for him than people think.
The Indianapolis Colts.
The back end of that secondary is going to be drastically improved. Nick Cross, if I had to choose 5 guys that really jumped off tape, Nick Cross is one of those 5. I thought that was a little early when they took him. I could very well be wrong.
Mm-hmm. And we know what they're getting on the offensive side. I still have questions about the wide receivers, but they'll be able to run the ball like nobody's business. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Mark my words that I said this special team is going to be a problem. I mean, a big problem. That is one thing you can glean from preseason because these guys playing special teams in large part are going to be the guys that actually play on special teams for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kevontae Turpin had two against you. And one of them, there was nobody within a stone's throw of him. Special teams going to be a problem. I can see the Chargers being the Packers of last year.
The Houston Texans.
Not a lot to take away, but there's one thing I'll scream from the mountaintops. Dameon Pierce is a dog. If you're doing fantasy drafts, whatever round you think you should take him in, take him 2 rounds ahead of that.
2 rounds ahead of that.
I did a draft the Sunday of last week. I had been sitting there with Dameon Pierce at the top of my list for a round going, maybe nobody knows. Maybe nobody. Oh. And I wound up without him.
That hurts. And your Super Bowl champion, Buffalo Bills.
They have about 1,000 weapons on this team. The defense is going to be very, very, very good. They go 5 deep at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Legit, no doubt, 5 deep at receiver. They're going to be impossible to cover. Khalil Shakir may end up being one of the best value picks in the draft. Loved him coming in. I thought, he'll sit behind Jamison Crowder for a year. I'm not positive that happens.
Really?
I'm not sure Jamison Crowder hasn't been shuffled all the way down to the 5. Because Isaiah McKenzie's gotten a ton of love too.
Mm-hmm.
That team is going to be terrifying. I'll tell you another thing that Asheville Police Chief David Zach told me, and I investigated. About a 90% chance O.J. Howard doesn't even make this team.
Really? He hasn't been used in the preseason.
He's just been – he's slow. Yeah. He's not particularly good.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it was not just a Bruce Arians distaste for him.
See, that's what I always thought it was. He was so incredible in college. There was no way that he wasn't going to be a useful tight end in the NFL. But maybe not.
He's just one of those failure to launch players. They had all the talent in the world, and it just never translated.
Yep. You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Tomorrow's the big day.
Tomorrow's the day.
We are going to have all of the picks for Week 0 in college football.
Nebraska, Northwestern, and Ireland. What more could you possibly want?
You'll want to tune in to hear Jeremy lose his mind as the college football season kicks off. We'll have, college football previews. We'll have more on the Aaron Donald stuff because I guarantee you're going to hear it if you're just joining us. Aaron Donald swinging helmets at Bengals during joint practices today. You can guarantee the NFL will be weighing in on this one pretty quickly. In the meantime, have a great evening. Enjoy the 2 NFL preseason games tonight. We'll see you back here in the Ingles Studio tomorrow at 3.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, the bigger rains off to our southeast and just isolated thunderstorms here in the mountains early tonight, drifting southeast. Low tonight 62 degrees and hit them as storms for Friday through this last weekend of August. Temperatures in the low 80s. Looks like we do see some cooler weather finally showing up early September here with some 70s for high temps into late next week. So stay tuned. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Tunnel Road and Charlotte Street. 240 eastbound stop and go between exit 3 and Merriman Avenue. 26 westbound stop and go between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound crawling between Brevard Road and the French Broad River. 40 westbound delays between the Smoky Park Highway and George's Branch Road. Patton Avenue southbound near Florida Avenue, an accident reported. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between Biltmore Forest and Overlook Road. Near Bent Creek, Brevard Road north and southbound. Delays between Clayton Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by